Yeah, I had to change all the settings in OBS and fucking voice meter, goddamn.
Oh shit.
But then while I was at it, I got some shit to like make the mic sound better. So I don't know how it sounds now, but I've been doing some tweaking on that. So it should all be good now. And then fucking Discord, the the event didn't start, or like it's gone now. I don't know what's happening with these things.
Ah, it's a pain in the ass.
It's like now it's gone, and like the next week one is there now.
My dog smells like eggs, and I have no idea why.
AIDS.
Eggs. Eggs.
Oh.
Breakfast food.
Okay.
Hanging out close to me, but I'm like, now go away, you stink. Like eggs.
Maybe you should wash it.
I just gave her a bath.
Oh.
Yeah, she's shedding like crazy all the time, and since we got moved into the house, she's been shedding like crazy because she's outside a lot more now. So I've been trying to like keep her clean. But she's clean. She smells.
You just gotta get one of those brushes.
Oh yeah, I got one.
Oh my god, dude, I'm all phlegmed up, man. I'm eating some apple pie. So I'm drinking a Rockstar Focus energy and mental boost. Zero sugar lion's mane? What the fuck is lion's mane? Is that a what the fuck is that?
Are you reading the ingredient list?
Yeah, one of the ingredients is lion's mane.
That is, I doubt it's like actual lion's mane, but Googling it. Lion's mane's a mushroom.
Mushroom.
According to Google, it's a type of mushroom.
That's why it tastes like shit.
Oh wow.
Like shark blood. What was the like Charlie Sheen thing? Was it Charlie Sheen? Dragon blood, wherever the fuck it was.
Oh, tiger blood. Yeah.
Tiger blood.
It is so crazy that dude was obviously having some sort of like drug-induced or mental-induced bipolar psychosis, and people were like, yeah, just cheering him on. That dude was having a crisis because because it was funny. People were into it.
It's so sad, but that's what fucking they do to like celebrities, man. They're doing it to Kanye. Yeah. You know, they're doing it to Kanye now. They did it to Amy Winehouse.
I'm sure part of it too is like a lot of celebrities have so much influence and money, they don't like have to like change themselves, you know what I mean? Like Kanye's got so much money, he could just like be acting like this, and no one's gonna mandate him to go to therapy or anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he wasn't famous, if he was like working at Target or something, he'd probably have some sort of court order to like attend therapy and take medication. Or probably not, that this country's healthcare kind of sucks, so.
Yeah, it's just what happens when people tell you you're fucking incredible your whole life.
Yeah.
You're like,
the thing is though,
genius.
like, I went back and re-listened to, I think I told you, I went back and re-listened to College Dropout. That album is still fucking incredible.
It's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we were
it's
talking about it
legitimately,
before.
like, yeah, it's legitimately like I want to say like a 10 out of 10 album. Like it's
That's the thing.
really
Even
fucking
even his new stuff, there's still glimmers of fucking incredibleness in there. But then he like fucks it up in some way. You're like, man, this. You were like 90% there to like an incredible track, and then he does some dumb shit that like ruins it.
good. It's just like that last 10%. You just
Yeah.
fuck it up with some weirdness.
Yeah, like I think
You
I
fucking
think
goon.
I think a lot of his new shit is like really fucking good, but it's like fucked up in some way. Yeah, it's like
You're
it's
telling
really
me
interesting.
it's like you eat into this like it's like you're eating this amazing like chocolate or candy and there's like coconut shavings in it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Well, some people like
this
that.
was good. Some people like that. Those people are wrong. Like, what's that line from Zombieland? It's like I have to taste consistency. Like that to me. I don't like the mouthfeel of like coconut shaving. I
Oh,
think it's gross.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan. But I don't like onions either. It's the same thing with onions. Like I don't mind I don't mind the flavor itself. It's the consistency of the thing itself.
My caveat is it has to be like cooked onions, like grilled onions. They're caramelized. It can't be like if I get raw onions in a burger, I'm taking it out.
Yeah, I
It
think
just
for me, I
fucks
can.
with the burger. Like, same with pickles. Like if I'm eating a burger and it's like chewy, and then there's a crunch,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, no, fuck this.
It
Fuck
feels
this.
like a roach crawled in there or something. You're like, what the fuck was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
It's like throws it
I
off.
don't even
Yeah.
think pickles taste that good. Like I think pickles are gross, but
I can fuck with a pickle if I don't know
man.
it's there. If you sneak it in there, I'm fine with it. But I'm taking it out if I see it.
I mean, I don't like it. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I like relish, and relish has pickle in it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm just weird.
I think I can be a little further away from the mic.
Sound
think,
fine to me. But I also got
sounds
these
fine.
shitty ass headphones on, so.
Yeah. No, I increased the gain like all the way, and then so it's gonna pick up stuff that it shouldn't pick up. However, I've got like a good noise gate. I've got things dialed in a little bit more than I used to. I used to put the gain way down, and then I would put the mic in my mouth because I got a lot of noise. There's like a lot of fan noise. My PC's loud.
Oh yeah.
But now it's like good. Okay. I think we're ready.
Cool. Hit that shit.
Let me just pull up the dock on the old laptop here.
Oh, I got a new laptop.
Oh yeah?
No, well, not new. It's an old laptop. So, backstory: when I was working at Best Buy, we had this. I know we had this Asus. And I know. Don't you mean Asus? No, I had a rep tell me it's Asus, but nobody believes me. I've had multiple
Asus.
reps tell me it. Yeah, I've had multiple reps of the company. I've gone to like events and they've corrected me, Asus. But nobody fucking believes me. They think I'm an idiot when I say Asus.
I mean, I've seen
And
some of them.
the reason why is because Asus sounds close to Acer, which is a very shitty product. And they do not want to sound close to them at all.
Is that what they
So
told
every-
you specifically?
No, but that's why they do it. That's why they do it. Every event I've gone to, every like tech event or like sponsored event, whatever I've gone to, if I say, "Oh, you're with Asus," they will say Asus or Asus. Like, but nobody believes me. Everyone thinks I'm a fucking idiot.
Well, I've heard Asus. Asus is what I've heard.
Yeah, every single one, Asus. But nobody believes me. Anyway, when I was still at Best Buy, we had this like returned Asus ROG laptop. This is years ago. This is many years ago. And it was like, at the time, it was like maybe $2,000, this laptop. I had this manager that was fucking insane. You come up to him, it's like, hey, I want to buy this open box computer. Give him some shitty offer and he'll give it to you. So I was like, hey, I want to buy this like $2,000 laptop that got returned for $300. And he's like, go ahead. That's what started my PC gaming journey. Anyway, I had that plate on it, so I got a little too long in the tooth, upgraded my desktop. That's why I went out and got to get a desktop. I kind of shuttered that laptop. My brother joined the military. He went on deployment. I let him borrow my laptop, so he had something to game on. It couldn't play a lot of games, but it was able to play what he wanted while he was deployed. Well, he's upgraded to an actual desktop now, and he kind of gave it back to me. So now I got that again. So I'm debating on what I want to do with it.
But
I'm debating on like, I think I'm gonna upgrade the hard drive to an SSD and just fuck around with that. Make it like a emulator machine or something.
yeah, a little emulator box. You just install like one of those like Linux distros that just play emulators, emulation station or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that might work. Just something. I'm thinking of something to do with it.
Turn into a Plex server.
Maybe. I don't know. The possibilities are endless here. Like this thing, it's got like an 860. What's the fucking card? Oh my god, like an 860 mobile NVIDIA card, which is like
Gross.
not even comparable to like a 1080. Like it's not even.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It could play some older games pretty decently, like Xbox 360 era games pretty decently, but like that's about it. Although my brother swears he was able to run Resident Evil 7 on it. So
And maybe on low, maybe on like 480p.
absolutely on low. Absolutely on low. But I gotta figure out what to do with it. Like I said, I'm thinking of just, you know, make this my like an emulation machine. Just, I don't know. I'll figure something out. It'll be fun. I got a nice little project to work on. What song is this? The song sounds cool. Sounds familiar.
Sounds like Pokemon.
A little bit.
It
Is that
not.
what it is? Is it Pokemon?
No. This actually might just be. This might be an original. It says Rosalina in the Observatory.
Is that Mario Galaxy?
I don't know. Maybe.
My wife made some Spanish rice for my son because he like,
Nice.
and he just, his fucking face is like orange, eating it like an animal. It looks like.
You gonna teach him how to speak Spanish?
Well, I don't even speak Spanish that well, but the rest of my family is though. Like my father-in-law is like only talks to him in Spanish, and he gets it. Like he gets like English words and Spanish words, but he's also like there's a lot of things my wife won't correct him on that annoys me a little bit. Like he calls pumpkins apples. I guess they look similar, right? They got a stem on top.
Not really.
So let's see a
but-
pumpkin, it'll be like apple. And I'm like, I'm trying to correct her, like, oh, it's a pumpkin. My wife's like, oh, apple. Yeah. And I'm like, no, don't yeah that. And she's like, that's what he calls it. And I was like, yeah, but he calls it something wrong though. If he called it like pumps or something, I'd be fine with that. He likes saying apple for sure. That's like his favorite word. He woke me up this morning. He pointed at my nipple and he was like, owie, I hurt myself. And I'm like, no, it's a nipple. And he's like, apple? Apple? So I hope he doesn't think nipples are apples now.
Everything's an apple.
Everything is apples.
Okay. Let's
Enough nipple and apple talk.
I thought the game chops for the jams there.
And Game Chops.
Okay.
Proud friend of the channel. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, Game Chops is great. Game Chops is great.
Game Chops is awesome.
They allow that music to be used by streamers on their shit. So does T-Pain. T-Pain's got the Pizzle Pack, which is just straight up. It's just all original music for streamers to use for free.
Oh yeah? That's awesome.
It's great.
Dude, T-Pain's a fucking gem, dude. I love T-Pain. He's like legitimately like a really cool dude and very talented.
Yeah.
You ever heard him sing without autotune? Dude's dude's an angel.
He did a remix to the Boss and Pete track, named after him, and he hopped on there. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, my wife showed it to me. It's good. It slaps.
Yeah.
And what a gem. What a gem of a man. Wonderful man.
Okay, here we go.
All right, here we go.
What's up, everybody? This is Podcast Gameoverse episode 193, Thursday, November the 7th, 2024. I am Wasabi Ice Cream, joined as always by Rick. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, Sabi? What's up, everybody? I'm here, you're here, we're all here to talk about video games. It's been a long time. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I've been doing some shit. Shit's not dealt with yet, but it's in a manageable space right now. So let's talk about some fucking games, man. What have you been playing these past couple weeks?
Okay, a lot of shit. I've intentionally left the in the doc. I intentionally left it vague because there's a lot of good shit I've been playing.
All right.
Like Monster Hunter Wilds.
I haven't played it yet. I'm so annoyed with myself. I've been too busy. Is it good? Fuck, I know it's good. Why am I even asking?
Yeah, I mean, you know it's good. So I'm not going to even start there. What I will say is that it is. You can chime in on this because you're a Monster Hunter guy. Okay, I'm a
Monster Hunter freak, dude.
I think last time we talked about Monster Hunter, I brought this up, but I feel like it's getting more. It's like getting worse now. Not getting worse, but what I mean to say is it's like fucking like easy as fuck. It's like these games keep getting progressively easier and easier.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they're getting way more accessible with each game, which like is not a bad thing. But I feel like the people who grew up with Monster Hunter, how it used to be, are gonna look at this game and be like, man, it's so easy now, man. It used to be fucking, you had to sharpen your weapon and, you know, you had to bring all your gear with you and you don't even have to worry about anything anymore. You can just, you get a dog now, you know, just like in Rise, you get like a rideable mount. And this fucking thing will just auto run. It'll auto run to your marker. It'll just auto run to everything, so you like have to like do minimal. There's like minimal hunting going on. It seems like
Monster Hunter World had a similar mechanic. You could like took some extra work. You could like tame one of the small monsters in an area, Anytime you enter that area, you have a chance to encounter it, and it'll take you right to the monster. And it does it automatically. So you could like sharpen your weapon, heal, eat some food, whatever you want to do while it's running up to that monster.
Yeah.
But it was like a whole ass thing. Like you didn't start the map and like it's there. You had to like go to a specific point. You had to do some quests to make it available. And then you had to go to a certain point and like call to it to make it happen. But with this, it sounds like you spawn and then you got your mount.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The beta starts with some stuff already unlocked, I think.
Yeah.
Like I'm not totally sure what the like if you would have this in the beginning of the game, but it is literally like it's your mount, the same as Monster Hunter Rise. Like it's the same kind of thing. But
and with Rise, it was kind of a trade-off too, because like
because
you have the Palico,
Palico.
the cat or the cat, yeah.
This you can get both. You have both.
Yeah, and with that, like when you're playing solo, you can have your choice between like 2 of each creature, so 2 Palicos or 2 Palamutes, or 1 of each. But if you played online, it was one or the other. And if you choose the Palamute, you know, you had like that raw damage and that transportation, but you lack the versatility you got with the Palicos. The Palico could like set traps, throw bombs, you know, put a monster to sleep, heal you. You won't have that if you have a Palamute. It can't do any of that. It could attack pretty hard and you could ride it. That's it.
Yeah.
And
this you can actually, it's like Elden Ring because you can attack while you're on the mount. Like yeah, it's like way more versatile than it was in the previous games. And yeah, like I said, it makes it more accessible for people who haven't been into these games before, but also you can carry 2 weapons at the same time. You know, so you can carry like any 2 weapon combinations you want. You can just switch between them at any time.
That's something that's super cool to me that I kind of like. Just because I want to get into the ranged weapon, but they're a little hard to get into because I know I'm gonna piss off some like range players here, but. There's a certain nuance and cadence to the ranged weapons I have a hard time grasping.
Yeah.
And because of how they work in other games, like most of the time they're ranged. In the early Monster Hunter games, you had 2 sets of armor you had to dedicate to. So if you wanted to go like bladed weapons, you had a whole set of armor you could only equip if you're using a bladed weapon or a melee weapon. If you want to use ranged weapons, there's a whole set of armor you could only equip if you're using ranged weapons. And the difference between them is the perks were range-based, and the stats were different. They protected from elemental damage more than physical. So ranged armor won't protect you from like a monster biting you, but it'll protect you from fire breath a lot better, which makes more sense because that's the kind of damage you're gonna be exposed to a bit more.
Yeah.
But you had to dedicate everything to that. If you wanted to use a gun, you had to dedicate not just to the gun weapons, but the gun armor too. You couldn't just decide, oh, I want to try a ranged weapon. And then realize, oh, I have 0 equipment. I can't just make a gun and then be using it. I have to like dedicate like all this time to like crafting the armor. Rise was a bit better than that. And I think World was a bit better than that too. No, World wasn't better. You said the same thing. You had 2 different types of armor you had to equip. And Rise is a bit better by just, if you have a ranged weapon, you just naturally take less damage from elemental abilities, but there is a lot to dedicate to it. But now you can just swap between them on the fly. There's more incentive there to like, you know, oh, I want like my main melee weapon, I want a ranged weapon as a backup, or vice versa. If you're a range user, you can have a melee weapon as a backup. Or any combination of weapons, really. Like, that sounds cool to me. I like that.
Yeah, and the map sizes are a little bit bigger, a little bit more open.
Yeah.
And you can there's like no more quest boards. So Um, all the towns. There's like multiple towns on the map. Some of them are smaller than others, but you do have like a main hub that you can just walk into and out of. Like it's just completely open. So there's no more like loading into a mission and then loading and then going into the map. Everything's open on one single map, and you can
That's cool.
you can list a mission or join a mission like on the fly without having
That's
to.
cool.
There is like a little like transition loading screen, but it's like super fast, and you don't like you stay where you're at. You know, so if you're like already in the map, you can just load up a join a mission, and you're just there. It still does the stupid bullshit where it's like, hey, your story progress doesn't match the host, so you can't join this yet. It still does that bullshit, but it's at least a little easier to just, hey, I'm out here in the field, I see this monster, I'm gonna post a mission for that and hope someone joins me. Or it's like it's super easy to do that stuff now. And like it's beautiful, looks great, runs great for me. I know a lot of people had issues with the performance.
Yeah, I heard the PC port had some weird performance hiccups. I haven't
Yeah.
tried it yet, so I don't know, but
I didn't really see any issues myself, and I had it mostly maxed out. So, yeah, it was pretty fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter guy, but I could see myself getting into this. So
yeah, I want to give it a shot. And so the game getting easier. I think World was a perfect combination of like accessibility and difficulty. Like the game was more accessible. You weren't stuck in one place where you were healing, right? If you just slowed down for a minute, you can still move around and navigate a little bit. You can cancel out of the animation. Same with eating. You didn't have that weird like tummy like rubbing animation afterward.
oh yeah,
Yeah, the animations are a little bit faster. Like the game was more accessible. The way skills worked was a lot more simple now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was cool. I think it was a perfect combination of like old and new school. Rise went really anime as fuck with it, which was fun. I thought it was a fun game, but it didn't have that like grittiness that World did. And
Yeah.
Wild seems like a combo with that. It has like the kind of crazy power scaling anime stuff that Rise had with some of the grittiness and realism, I say in quotes, that World had. But it still seems to lean more towards like being even easier. I haven't played it yet, but it legitimately looks fun to me, and I will play it eventually. And I'll probably end up pre-ordering the game too because I'm a monster. But yeah, I love these games. I don't give a fuck. I love all of them. I don't care. I'll play the hell out of them.
What else? Played that Black Ops 6 a little bit.
How's that?
I only played the multiplayer online. I didn't touch anything else. I only played it a little bit. And I think there's two things that kind of go hand in hand for me. One, the maps are too big, and two, there's not enough players on those maps. So I don't know. I'm the kind of person that when I play one of these games, I just want chaotic, just dumb shit happening, just fucking, just chaos and bloodshed, and I want to be. I never want to stop shooting, but I feel like on these maps, I'm kind of just running around for too long, not shooting anything, and I don't know. For me, it's a problem for me.
Is the movement? How can I word it? Does it have like that advanced warfare movement with like the parkouring and the exosuit movement, or is it just boots on the ground? Like,
It's pseudo boots on the ground. They've added a new thing called Omni movement, which is new for this game, where you can sprint in any direction. So you can sprint backwards and like shoot forwards and shit. or
Oh, okay.
you can dive in any direction. So if you're sprinting backwards, you can dive backwards, or you can sprint and dive to the left while shooting shit, or you can dive off a ledge and then spin around, and while you're falling, like shoot backwards and shit. It's really fucking cool. And then it does like the Metal Gear Solid 4 thing, where you can, if you're like crawling on the floor, you can spin around too and like lie down on your back and like go like supine and shit.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they've really updated the movement, and it just feels great. The movement feels great.
I want to give it a try, but it's like, how big is that game? Like 300 gigs?
It's pretty sizable because when you install it, it installs everything first. Like it's like there's a Call of Duty like main executable that is then the launcher for all the single games. So you have to like install the launcher first, and then I think it just automatically installs fucking everything, and then you have to go into the launcher to uninstall what you don't want. But then if that thing ever updates, it reinstalls everything again. It's so
That is
shitty.
fucking, fuck that. I'm not
Yeah,
fucking with
it's so
that.
it's so
I don't
shitty.
care. Oh my god, I'm not gonna fuck with that at all. That game can suck my dick, and I'm still like not gonna deal with that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is a deal breaker for me.
Because I uninstalled Modern Warfare, and then, well, first of all, I had Modern Warfare installed, and then I had that like launcher installed, and then when this game came out, it automatically installed this game without even me. Like I wanted to install it. I'm not gonna say I didn't want it, but it automatically installed it before I even knew it. It was just automatically installed, and I was like, oh, that's nice,
annoying.
but also fucked up, because what if I didn't want this? And then when after this installed, I uninstalled Modern Warfare because I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna play the old game anymore, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. But then like some update happened, and then it reinstalled the. It's like super shitty because you can't do it from outside of that launcher. Like you have to
That
go
is
into that
annoying.
launcher, and then yeah, it's at least that's how it works on the Game Pass version. I was using the Game Pass version, so that's how it was
Again,
working there.
That game could suck me dry every time I boot it, and I still couldn't be convinced to put up with that. Like, absolutely not. Yeah, I guess I'm skipping it.
But
It's a bummer because the zombies look fun, but I'm gonna have to skip it.
zombie. I don't really fuck with zombies like that. Yeah, I haven't
Dude, I used
fucked
to
with
fuck
the
with
zombies.
zombies hard back in the day.
I know one thing they
Right.
did with this year's zombies is it's a lot more accessible for single player. If you're just playing solo,
Yeah.
they've made it a lot easier to do that. Like it scales a lot better for one player, and also you can save what round you're on, and you can quit, and then you can load it back up and then continue where you left off. Which
Keep
is
talking. My kid just like shitted himself really hard, so I gotta go deal with that. He just came up to me, and I was hanging out with them, and it smelled awful. And I checked this diaper, and I'm like, oh, dude, fucking, that's a man-sized duke right there you just
oh
dropped.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you keep talking.
Yeah, take care of that.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still listening, but yeah.
Oh, okay, but yeah, I don't know. I actually don't have much to say about. I don't have much to say about Call of Duty, man. Like I want them to just get as fucked up with it as they did with the previous like Modern Warfare. You know, I want shipments. I want the shipment playlist 100%. Like that's all I want. I just want the smallest maps, and then put like 60 fuckers on there, and just let us fucking toss grenades blindly and fucking throw knives everywhere and just shoot shit. I just never want to stop shooting shit. That's really what I want. So I loaded up Combat Master after I played this. I loaded up Combat Master, and it's just so much. Like that game fucking sucks, okay? But it just does the thing I want. It just gives you can load up a tiny ass map, and it puts like 20 guys on it and says, okay, fucking start shooting. And, you know, there's guys on mobile. You completely trounce the mobile guys, and it's fun. It's just straight fun. But yeah, this I think they just need smaller map. I heard there was one map that might be the smallest map in Call of Duty history, but you can't really select what map you run on. Like if they had that map and it was just 24/7 mode of that map, in deathmatch, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm just gonna play this. This is the only thing I'm gonna play in this game. But you cannot. They just don't have that yet. So maybe, yeah, maybe I heard they had it. They added Nuketown. I don't know what the fascination with Nuketown is, man. Like, it's not. It's just not. I'm not a fan of that map. Yeah, I just want smaller maps. I want smaller maps and more players on those maps. Because
I think aesthetically, Nuketown is cool, but yeah, like the fan base gravitated to it really hard, and I have no idea why.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like the blood gulch of like Halo. It's like
yeah, but
like,
Blood Gulch is kind of
it's a blood
cool.
gulch of like it's the blood gulch of like Call of Duty. The difference is that Blood Gulch is actually like really cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Rust is a cool map. Like, I'm showing my age a little bit, but you know, back in the day, you had beef to settle, right? 1v1, Rust. Come on, let's go.
I don't even know. I never remember map names.
If you looked up Rust, you'd recognize.
Right? Is that a Halo map or a Call of Duty map?
That's Call of Duty. That's a Call of Duty map.
Okay. Yeah, I might know it if I see it, but
You will definitely know it when you see it. That was like the 1v1 map back in the day.
Speaking of 1v1, there's another FPS called Straftat. And dude, I'm so glad this game is doing very well, and I'm so glad it is, because one would think that this type of game has fallen out of favor. However, this game is doing very well on Steam right now, and I'm just so proud.
Hey, remind me, what kind of game is this?
It's a 1v1 FPS. That is the premise of it. It's free to play. It's a free game, except they have there's a $5 I guess donation or a DLC that you can get to, one, support the guys that make it, and two, you get 70 additional maps. And then,
Jesus.
it's 1v1, so whoever's hosting the game, both players get those maps if the host has the DLC. So not everyone even needs to buy it to benefit from it. And yeah, it's a 1v1 FPS game, kind of like think Quake, just like think Quake multiplayer, or like an Unreal Tournament, except it's it's like first to two on a map, right? And the maps are fucking crazy.
So you say it's first to two, so not best 2 out of 3, but first to 2.
It might be 2 out of 3 on across. So okay, how do I
think
explain
that's
this?
pretty much the same thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you can change what it is, but I think the default is like 2 out of 3, and then there's 5 maps. So the first person that hits 3 gets a point, and then you can move to the next map. And it's really like first to 5 across 5 maps or some shit like that. So the map switches when whoever gets the first 3 kills, and you get 1 life. So it's like 1 life across, and then first to. Am I explaining this well? It's hard to explain. It's not really hard to explain, but I'm just doing a bad job of explaining. You get 5 maps, random. Like I said, you can have up to, I think there's like 70, 80 maps in the fucking game. So the maps are just randomly selected. And the first person that gets 3 kills on a map gets a point. And then you move on to the next map. The thing about the maps is the maps have different rules. So you spawn in on this fucking map and you have no idea what the fuck. You're not going to start with any weapons. There's different mechanics on the map. Sometimes the one I'm showing on the screen right now was just a brick of ice, and it was rotating, and it was lava underneath. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you just don't know like what's going to happen once these maps spawn in. Sometimes, you'll spawn in with nothing, and it'll be completely dark. Like, one of the maps was just completely dark. You just spawn with a flashlight. and like both players, and then you just have to find the other player, and whoever gets 3 kills first gets a point for that map, and then you move on to the next map. Or you'll spawn and like there's nothing but like bricks in the sky, and you have to like platform to get a sniper rifle, and the first one to get a kill gets a point for that map.
That's really cool.
That's how it works. It's just completely random. You have no idea what the rules are gonna be. But all you know is you have to kill the other player. It's just 1v1.
That's really cool. Okay, I can dig it. I'm like, and the cool thing is that being 1v1, like, there's no blaming like your team, right? There's no like, it's you and them. It's like there's no excuses. Like, I love that.
And
I love that.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea. I'm really bad at it because I don't know. I'm just really bad at shooters in general. But also, just there's clearly people who've played the game a lot more than I have already. So you learn what some of the guns do, or maybe you've seen a map before, you know what the mechanic is.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. But there's so many maps that I'm sure most people haven't seen them all, and they're probably adding more maps. Like they're not very complicated. Like I said, there's like 70, 80 maps. So, but it's really like the mechanic on the map is like different every time. You know, like a map will spawn and it'll just be like swords. It's like, okay, but there'll be like one sword on the map, and so whoever gets the sword first is the one that gets the sword. Or you know, there's like a spoon here, or like a baseball bat, and you're like, okay, we gotta fucking smack each other. Yeah, it's like super fun because you just don't know what's gonna happen. It's really cool.
It out, then. It sounds awesome. That sounds cool as hell.
It's free to play, so anyone can just load it up on Steam. It's on Steam, free to play. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool, and yeah, it's doing really well. I'm surprised. It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam, across the board. So yeah, that's
good. I'll have to check it out. That sounds fun.
Straftat.
Okay, I'll check it out. You're watching some VTubers too, right? What's up, Booker?
Yeah. Dude, I got really into VTubers specifically. I talked about this with Uncle Dolph, because he is huge into VTubers. Like he goes to like the fucking conventions and shit. So I was talking to him about this because now I've been fascinated. I've caught the bug, man. There's just something about, now when I say VTubers, I'm talking specifically about HoloLive.
Okay, so like that, like, I don't know what the term is, that franchise,
the corporation,
that Zaibatsu of VTubers.
Yeah.
A collective.
And yeah, we talked about this. We talked about, when I was streaming Monster Hunter, it was more of just me talking to Dolph about fucking HoloLive and less about Monster Hunter. So if you really want some conversation about this, well, just watch the Monster Hunter stream, because all we did was just talk about this, because it's fascinating, man. It's fucking fascinating. I don't know if you've like watched any of this, but
no. No, I have not.
Because
tell me the appeal.
Because before I started watching these guys, I had these preconceived notions in my head about what it was, knowing that HoloLive is a corporation, the same way that J-pop idols or K-pop idols, if you know anything about how those groups work, they're very much like owned by the corporation. The public image of those girls are very much controlled by the corporation. They are not like the person that you see that is presented to the viewer is very much the person that's been is what they want you to see for marketing purposes.
Right, the person's been constructed. They're not like, they're not a person, they're a character.
Yeah, and they are completely controlled by the corporation, so much so that they're like not allowed to swear, or they're not allowed to like have boyfriends, or they're not allowed to smoke, or they're just not allowed to really do the things that the person would normally do. They can only do what is presented as, this is who you are, this is your character, this is what you're going to present to the customer. And that is what I thought HoloLive was. I thought it was just a corporation of, here's these characters and we're going to sell these characters to you, and the person behind the character doesn't really exist. It's not really a thing. It's just, here's the characters. That is not at all. That is not at all what it is, man. Like, every one of these people are like people, man. They're like fucking people. Like, they're all, they can kind of do whatever they want. Which was that was my surprise, was like, oh shit, you're actually like some of them are actually professional gamers. Like, a lot of them are really, they're in Street Fighter tournaments, some of them. Like, they've been to EVO. Some of them play Apex professionally. Some of them play Valorant professionally. A lot of them are just fucking funny as fuck. And
see, that's something I could see myself getting into, because I don't like, how can I word it? I don't like being on camera a lot. I'm down to do it, but now that I'm older, right, I got like a mortgage and a family. I'm like, I don't want to be on camera if I don't have to be.
yeah.
So I think VTubing would be something I could be super into.
Yeah, but I know there's a lot of people that do it like freelance VTubing.
Yeah.
Like, anyone can do the VTubing thing.
Yeah, but to be represented by like HoloLive, like that's totally, it's cool if they can let them do that.
It's the thing is, HoloLive is really good at, because anyone can be a VTuber the same way as anyone can just be a fucking streamer, right? But the thing about HoloLive is they're really good at, you have to audition to be on HoloLive, and they're very good. They're very good at picking their talents. They're very good at picking their talents. These are people that you would want to watch because they're just so entertaining. Especially when they're like with each other and they can kind of like play off of each other. Like, there's a reason why they have like millions of fucking like followers and fans and shit, is because they're really good at, most of them I think like were like professional somethings in the past, but like, you don't know their identities. So if they were someone in the past, you don't know that, because the new character they're presenting as is like, you know, all their info's hidden, you know. But some of them quit HoloLive and then go on to like do other things. So recently, Amelia Watson quit, and now she's doing her own thing as a new VTuber. And then she can kind of talk about some of the shit, her like actual life. And then she's like, oh yeah, I was like an Emmy-winning Foley artist on like Spider-Man and a bunch of like cartoons and anime and shit, and I have like Emmys and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Or like, you know, some of them are like professional singers or you know, failed J-pop stars or whatever. But I don't know. The HoloLive shit was fascinating, just because of what they're allowed to do there. I would figure, like, if it was like a Disney corporation or like a Nintendo company, they'd be like, okay, you can't swear. These are games you're not allowed to play. You can't play anything with like nudity in it. Like, they're very I don't know. I think my fascination is just about how much freedom they have to kind of just do whatever the fuck they want. Like, a lot of the jokes they make, you know, they can make like sexual jokes, they can swear, they can do, they kind of do whatever the fuck they want. And it's very interesting.
That is cool. Okay, so it is, I will admit, like, not the novelty, but being able to see something as like a corporate backing, but still has like that spiciness of unfiltered internet, at least to an extent.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I don't know what my kid's doing. He's just like making noise with the TV.
So
he's
yeah,
like
I linked.
he's like, no.
In the Discord, I linked one of the. So there's a bunch of like girls under Hololive, but the one I think I've found, it took me a little bit of searching because there's ones that from Japan. Now they got ones that are like from Indonesia, and they got ones that are from America that just speak English. But the ones I found that I love the most is Corone, who she's been doing it for like 7 years, I think. And it also, like, some of them are older. Some of them are way older than you think. Corona is like 40. But again, you know, they don't tell you that. Like, they try to hide their age. So,
Yeah.
but you can tell by some of the references they make. You can tell by some of the references they make and some of the jokes they make.
You're just like, oh, this person's not a fellow kid.
Yeah, like
I say that as like being 30.
like Guargura, she's probably like the most popular one. You would know her. She's like the shark girl.
Oh yeah, I have seen her.
Yeah,
The weird little shark lolly.
she looks and sounds like a child. Her character, at least. But bro, she made a reference that I saw the other day. She made a reference to, fuck man, I don't even know the artist. That's how she whipped out the artist and the title of the song. You know, boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. We'll spend the night together. Whatever the fuck that song is. She like whipped out the artist name, like fucking out of nowhere, just because like some other song sounded like it. And she was like, "Oh, is that Dread Pirate Rogers?" That's not the name of the artist, but she like whipped that out, and I was like, there's no way you're under fucking like late 20s, because no one fucking knows this song. And it's not even like I know there's like a resurgence of like old songs being reinterpolated into new songs in like pop music now.
Yeah, but she didn't have the vibe of like, oh hey, this old song, you know what I mean? It was like,
yeah, no, she knew
the
the
vibe
fucking,
was very much like, I knew that song because I heard it when it came out.
yeah. Venga Boys. Dude, she was like, is this Venga Boys? I was like, who the fuck knows Venga Boys? I was like blown the fuck away. I was like, you are not, yeah, you're like, you gotta be like late 20s, early 30s at least to know what the Venga Boys, to just pull that out of your ass. Like, she's good at just pulling shit out of her ass. Like, some people are just good at that, just like memorizing random fucking shit.
That's me. I memorize random shit. Just make references nobody understands.
Yeah. So she could just be good at that, but I don't know. Venga Boys is like a weird one. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. So like they have a good eye for talents when they Hololive. They just have good talent. There's just a lot of funny people on there. Good people just doing like straight improv shit. It's all live, you know. It's all live streamed and shit. I feel like most streamers in general just are not good at improving like that, or, you know, just being fucking entertaining for fucking, they stream for like 6 hours straight, like almost every day. So it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that. Like, I could be doing stand-up and stuff. Like, you know, I always came in with like written material. I'm a great writer. I'm a great writer, but
yeah,
being spontaneously funny, that's a little different. Like,
yeah.
I could probably be funny in like 30-minute bursts, but I can't imagine like 6 hours straight just being on point, entertaining. I can't imagine doing that, especially if I'm by myself.
Yeah.
No one to bounce off of. Like, absolutely not. Like, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Check out Hololive, man. At least there's a lot of clip channels that'll translate, you know, stuff into like 3-minute clips. Check those out, and then you'll find someone you fuck with. You'll find one of those girls that you fuck with. There's dudes that do it too. They have like hollow stars, where it's like a few men that are in it, but they're nowhere near as popular. No, the girls are great too. Like, they're a lot of funny. I say check it out, man. If you haven't already, you will absolutely find something in there.
Okay, I'll look. I'll see what I can find. I'll try to find something.
But yeah, that's mostly all I've been Yeah, I'm playing Diablo just a lot, just like my.
I have not touched Diablo at all. I feel
Oh
so
man,
annoyed.
it's like it's good, man. But they made some changes. Now that I've been playing it a lot more, they made some changes around the drop rates that are kind of fucking frustrating.
Oh my god, you were just talking like last time we talked about how much better the drop rates are now.
It's I feel like they went in a direction. They went in a good direction, but they went a little too far in that direction to where, like they removed the whole tier of sacred. Like there's no more sacred items anymore. So it just goes from like legendary to ancestral legendary, and ancestral legendaries always have a greater affix. They always have at least one. So like that's really what you're after is like the ancestral legendaries are like the rare drops now. But they're like super fucking rare. And now there's 4 tiers of torment levels now. So they've expanded the difficulties, and as you go up in those difficulties, the more chances you have at rare drops. But
soon. Diablo 3 had like 12 torment levels, so soon.
yeah.
We will come there.
It's they just don't drop very. They're like super rare now. And it's like it's frustrating because you'll like go for such a long time. I was looking for a dagger. I had everything was like ancestral in my equipment, except I just needed a fucking dagger. I was looking for a dagger for so long, man. I was like, where the fuck? I'm not getting any daggers, and you can't just get a dagger. It's just like everything drops but a dagger. So I was just like fucking frustrated. I was like, this is bullshit. And then the master working. There's stuff that needs to be reworked. It's just this stuff that needs to be reworked a little bit, but it's in a good direction. I would still say it's like the best it's been. And really, the problem is again, it's just like the end game shit. It's like the sweaty end game shit. They fucked up the what do you call it? The aspects. Again, so the aspects you can only get you can only level up your aspects if you trash an aspect that has a higher level on it, right?
Yeah.
But again, the drops, so only the ancestral drops have the higher level aspects, and the ancestral drops are so fucking rare. And what level aspect it has on it are fucking rare. It's not like if you get a 4 greater affix ancestral legendary, that's the best fucking drop you can get. All the stats are like max level, right? But the aspect that's on it can still roll at like level 1 or whatever the fuck. So
that's frustrating.
You can't you just can't level up your shit because now you're still getting trash aspects. It's like that shit's happening. So yeah, it's like that kind of shit. So even when something like that drops, it's still gonna be fucking trash. Yeah, it's just end game shit. Again, it's like everything up to that point is great. It's fantastic. Spiritborn, broken as fuck. Love it. But yeah, it's just like the end game shit where people are, because there's like 300 Paragon levels now, and people are complaining like, oh, it takes too long. Fucking, I can't get the 300 or pit level 70. And I'm like, there's a lot of shit in that game, in the end game, that you're not just supposed to really complete. It's more like, hey, this is for the sweaty end game guys who just really want to fucking like a lot of that stuff is just like you're supposed to play for a long time and kind of just trickle into it as you play. You're not supposed to max everything out. Like that's not what you're supposed to do. You're completely viable at a certain point, and then anything beyond that is just like what they call it, like aspirational content. It's like a bonus. Like it's something for you to do after you've done everything else. Anyway, yeah, it's in a good spot right now, man. You don't even need the expansion. A lot of that stuff is you can still enjoy without the expansion anyway. So it's good. It's good.
I gotta get back into it. I've just been so busy. Like, it's such a time sink, Diablo, that like, and I don't have the time to sink right now. But I will get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good, like, you can pick up and play. It's not like that. I mean, the hugest detriment to it is that it's online only and you can't pause it. I I hope they add some form of single player to it, but that's the biggest detriment to it, really.
Yeah,
in
that's my big
opinion.
thing is like, if my like, I don't really get to play when my kid's napping. So
Yeah,
when my kid's asleep and I go to play, if he wakes up in the middle of that, I'm like, fuck.
yeah,
I just gotta let this boss kill me, I guess. I just gotta ruin this run.
yeah,
Whatever. I haven't been playing a lot. I've just been playing stuff on my Switch that I can kind of get away with. You know, in between
yeah.
like the shit I gotta do. So Vampire Survivors has been like huge with me.
Oh
I bought
yes,
all the expansions and then the Castlevania expansion, and Jesus Christ, that game has so much fucking content, dude.
yes,
Oh my
man,
god.
yes. I've been playing that Castlevania one. What I like about the Castlevania one is, well, because you haven't played the other like expansions, so
I
um,
dripped. I dipped a toe into all of them, at least a little bit. And
the thing about
yeah,
the
they're good.
Castlevania one is that map is fucking awesome because
Yeah,
it's actually like it has a progression to it. Where like the other maps
yeah,
are kind of just like whatever, like here's like another map. That map has like a beginning and an end, and you can kind of like walk through the whole thing. And there's like when a run ends, there's like teleporters you can unlock, so you can teleport to where you
yeah,
left off and then keep going.
yeah. I noticed that. I got a little bit into it, and I was like, shit. I got to like the doppelganger boss fight. That's as far
Yeah,
as I've gotten so far, and I'm like,
yeah,
God, there's still a fuck ton left here
yeah,
to do. And the weapons are fun. Like all the different whips are pretty cool so far. Like just for shits and giggles, I just run with like a whip only run. Just whatever whips are available to me, that's all I'll run with.
oh yeah, I
And that's
tried
been a lot
that.
of fun to fuck around with. It's just fun to fuck around with, dude. It's fun to play. Like,
Yeah,
and all the extra stuff, dude. Fucking, oh my god, the all the weapons that are available, the maps that are available, the arcanas to modify things. Like those are separate unlocks, and then there are other modifiers to like increase weapons past their limits when you hit max level on it. It's, oh my god, there's so much content here.
yeah,
There's so much content, and it's all like pretty good quality content. Like it bums me out because I still think, even despite all this, dude, I still think 20 minutes till dawn is a better game. I still
ooh,
think that. I still think that, but Vampire Survivors beats it out just in pure content. Like
yeah.
just stuff to do, stuff to unlock. It beats it out, but I think 20 minutes till dawn plays better. Um,
I just never want to aim my weapon in these games. I never want to like
I do.
manually aim.
I do. There are a couple weapons in Vampire Survivors that just suck because you can't aim them. They just attack at like the closest enemy or some random enemy, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
this guy is like eating my ass, and you're shooting something else. What are you doing? Um, but it's a lot of fun, and everyone is in it. Like that commercial they had for that ad that they did for the Castlevania stuff. They're straight
Yeah.
up like everyone's here, and yeah, just look from what I've looked up of it. It's like, yeah, every like Castlevania like major character protagonist is like in this game playable, and they all have their own weapons, their own abilities, and it's just like Christ, dude,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like
But
there's
also
so much
people, you
here.
know, people were down on the Contra one. I really like the Contra
I like
one
the Contra
too.
one too. The Contra one is fun. To end it off in like a boss fight is like really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's cool. The fucking, oh my god, what's that other one? That other franchise? Kind of cringe. Oh god, imposters. What is it called? Among Us. The
Oh,
Among Us content isn't bad either. Like,
is there Among Us content? I don't even.
yeah, there's an Among Us expansion.
Wait, do I have that?
I think it came out before the I think it came out before the Contra one. But yeah, it's crazy because like you drop into a map, right, and there's like Among Us like characters there. There's a lot of Among Us references I don't get because I never fucking played the game, but the idea that this creature's like an imposter creature, right? And like it plays into the map because like if you walk around, like furniture will like come to life and attack you, or like snowmen, there's random snowmen that'll come to life and attack you, and you have to do like objectives. So it'll tell you like, oh, there's this heating exhaust that's gonna like explode, and it's gonna fuck everything up if you don't like stop it. And you'll be on one side of the map, and you gotta go to another side of the map within a time limit, and get to this computer console, or also have to deal with this like debuff. Sometimes it'll spawn like a fuck ton more enemies. Sometimes it'll like make random things explode. What's wrong, son? He doesn't even tell me what he wants. He just makes noises. But yeah, like, and I was surprised like how much thought they put into it, because it's this huge map. And at first I was like, okay, this is kind of cool to explore, but what's the gimmick here? And then the game was like, oh, do this objective or else we're gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like, these guys did a good job. Like, these guys did a really good job building this out and really planning like how each like franchise they want to represent gets represented. And it's fucking cool, dude. It's really fucking cool. I love it. It's so much content to play with. I don't think I'm ever gonna finish this game if I'm being honest. So much shit here to fuck with.
It's like Binding of Isaac is another game that fucking keeps adding more and more content. Like that game has like 1,000 achievements, and I don't even have I probably have like maybe 100. And there's just so much content. Like this is gonna be the same thing. Just keep adding shit.
Yeah, I'm never gonna finish this. Even with the stuff they have now, it's like I don't have all the Arcanas unlocked, which are like, those game-changing like modifiers.
I don't even know what the fuck an Arcana is. What is that?
It's like this. It's like a game modifier that. Well, they're not modifiers. They're like cards, and you unlock them by hitting certain achievements. So like, there's this one you can unlock that makes every time you heal, you heal twice as much. Anytime you do any sort of healing. And any points you heal yourself with hurts enemies around you for the same amount of points. And you have a default like 2 HP a second healing. Like that's one example. There's another one that like, there's one called Gemini, where these specific weapons that the game just decided on get an extra counterpart, so you basically do double damage for those weapons for the entire run. That one's one of my favorites. Yeah, there's a ton of like these little things here. You've probably seen them. I don't think you know what they're called, but you've probably seen them. Like,
I don't think I have.
Really?
I don't think so. Wait, how do you unlock them?
I don't remember how I unlocked it. I don't remember really. I think there's like this main mission I had to beat to do it. Like there's some boss I had to beat. Like look up Arcanas, Vampire Survivors. And if you really don't recognize any of those, like you're missing like a huge chunk of content. That's like playing Diablo without going to the Paragon board. It's like just not fucking with the Paragon board. Like there's so much there you're missing out on.
Yeah, I maybe I've seen like one, maybe. Like I don't know. I remember there was this bonus stage I got to that was doing some weird shit, but I thought it was just in that stage.
Yeah, the Arcanas are cool. There's this one that like your area of effect skills will randomly every like minute or so either be plus 25% or negative 25% at any given time. But every time you level up, you get a permanent plus 1% boost to your area of effect attack. So you can hit a point where like, if you start off with it, you can hit a point where like your area of effect skills, like the garlic, for example, right? That just here's a damaging aura that's around you, could just basically hit the entire screen. Like there's some really cool ones too that are really neat.
I don't think
There's
I've
one that
ever.
just like that's like useless. That like there's one called like Game Breaker that you can't pick up experience anymore, but every experience that is that's available to you turns into like a bomb that will deal like X amount of damage to the closest enemy. Like there's a lot of really cool ones, and you can turn them off. So if you think like, oh, this is too game breaking, you just turn it off and just never use it.
I'm pretty confident I've not seen any of those.
Yeah, there's so much shit in that game, dude. Like I'm like, this is crazy. And then the adventure, don't even get me started on the adventure mode. Like the game has separate campaigns for like specific characters that have like a story to them. And they all
Okay,
have their
wait,
own like level gimmicks and achievements. Like
you might be playing a
you don't know
different
any of
game.
this shit?
I have not seen any of that.
Are you fucking with me, dude? Like
I mean, I don't know if that's a separate menu because all I do is I load the game up, I load up the Castlevania map, and then I
you
just
see,
play that.
yeah, so you put the game up and you can hit like start or adventure. And if you hit adventure, they're like different adventures. Like there's basically story modes, and you start the game from the beginning again. So like any of the power-ups you unlocked are like set to 0 for that, so you got to re-earn that. The starting characters get shuffled around, the available maps get shuffled around, like, and there's a story. Like you, like every level, you beat a level, there's like a little story blurb of the level, and then there's a story blurb for the next one. And they all have their own like gimmick to them. Like there's this one that's just the garlic guy, you know, the old man, and it changes the artwork too. So instead of like that normal artwork, you have like that garlic guy doing that chick's pose that's totally ripping off Bayonetta. Like, like it changes the menu. It's like a whole separate game. It's like in there. Like you know. Wow, like there's so much content you didn't even know that was there. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually. Well, because when I play it, I didn't. When I play it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good shit. But I'm just playing the mode I was playing always. Just I load it up, I do a run, and then I turn it off.
You know about like hyper mode, right?
No.
Or why just there's like a little modifier when you beat a level. I can't remember. You have to. I think you need to survive for the whole 30 minutes in the level to unlock it. But
Oh, that okay.
I can't remember what you have to do.
I've seen. There's like a toggle for hyper mode. I've never used it.
Yeah, hyper mode's great because it just like it gets you. It's just faster. There's more enemies, more experience. There's just more enemies. There's more experience. It doesn't speed the game up. So it's not like that. It's not like that other mode that like that doubles the speed for everything.
Like turbo.
It just
like
it makes
Street Fighter
yeah.
Turbo.
So hyper mode and turbo are different modes.
Oh.
Oh my god, I don't know what my kid wants. He's just like he wanted this toy. I gave him the toy, and now he's crying. What do you want, Booker? Come here, bud. Come here, bud. Up. Come here.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna have to load that game up and actually actually play it because yeah, I don't actually play the game. I just like load it up, do a run,
and you turn it
yeah,
off.
yeah.
No, not me, dude. I was playing the hell out of it. I will admit, as much fun as it is, 30 minutes is way too fucking long for these levels, man. Like way too long.
I kind of want an endless mode. There's a
There is endless
HoloLive.
mode.
Is there?
Yeah, you can turn it on endless mode. I think that's like another mode in the game you have to unlock.
Okay. See, I just don't explore the. I just don't explore the menus at all.
I don't know what my kid wants. Just making sounds at me. What's the matter, Booker? Oh, I'm getting tired. I'm taking for a nap in a little bit. Vampire Survivors is fun. I'm playing the hell out of it. It's a good time. What was I gonna say? I also played Project Zomboid. which is a lot of fun. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, it's the longest running early access game on Steam.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a good time. I'll be honest, a good time, man. It's very there's a lot in it that caught me off guard. I thought it was gonna be like this overhead twin stick zombie killing fest. It's not at all. There's so much to take into account with it, right? Like, let me give you an example. There's a mechanic you could only see in the direction your character is facing. So any direction you're not facing in, you can see like the general outline, like, like, oh, there's a wall over here or like a kitchen over here, but what's in that kitchen you can't see if you're not looking into it, even though it's got an overhead view or an isometric view. And there's a mechanic to close curtains, which means you can't see out of the window, but also zombies cannot see in and swarm you when they see you shuffling around in that house. There's a mechanic to go through your inventory. You can get a separate backpack. That's a separate inventory screen. And when you get stuff out of the backpack, you actually have to do it in real time, so you're vulnerable. If you fire a gun, every fucking zombie will hear it. I've had runs end because I got careless. I survived for a few days and I was running out of food. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to this house. I got some food. I saw zombies outside the house. I'm like, okay, if I sneak in, I can sneak in, get food, get the fuck out, and I'll be fine. And I got in. There's a zombie in the house, and I killed it. And the sound of me fighting it alerted everything outside, and they swarmed me and killed me. Like there's a lot of thought here, and there's different ways to play it. So if you want to play more survival based, you can do that, and the game will scale down how much damage you do, scale up how much damage you take. If you want to play more aggressively, the game will tone down some of the stealth mechanics, but scale up the damage you do, so you can actually like reliably kill zombies. There's scenarios you can play through. So there's like, oh, you're playing this specific character in this specific map, survive to this day. And like, there's a lot of that to play through. Like there's a lot here, dude, to fuck around with. And it's jank. It's very jank and very hard to get a hang of, but it's fun once you get the hang of it. I can see myself playing this game for a while.
Yeah, I've seen this being played. And yeah, it just looks very deep. And the guy I was watching play it had it seems like it has a huge modding community. There's a bunch of like mods that you can just grab and download, and adds a bunch of shit. Yeah, really cool. But yeah, no, it's the longest. I think it is the longest running early access game, but also it is actually still they're actually still working on it. They're always updating it. Like, you can go into like their community tab, and they always have some new shit posted. So, because that's the thing about early access is, sometimes they just abandon the fucking game.
Yeah, they could decide like, we worked enough on it, we had enough money on it, we're gonna stop now.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, yeah, you're right. They've been doing this for a while, and I keep seeing shit about it. That's why I ended up getting it, because like I saw it was in the early access like a year ago, and I was like, I'll wait till it's done, and then it just never got finished. But they're still adding shit to it, and I'm still seeing stuff about it. I'm still seeing like recent videos on YouTube about it. And my brother picked it up, and he was like, bro, this game is incredible. He convinced me to buy it when it was on sale. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, dude. I like it a lot. I can see the appeal of it. And yeah, I'm gonna try to play it again tonight, God willing, if I have the time to do it. But
have you tried using a controller with this yet?
I do not know how controllers gonna work with that, if I'm being totally honest with you. Okay. There's so many menus and stuff to sift through.
That's my thing. Is I need controller support. It says on the Steam page that it has like partial controller. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I have no clue what that means. Like what partial controller support is supposed to mean for this, but I don't know how you're supposed to play that game with a controller, if I'm being totally honest. There's so many menus to navigate. I don't know. Yeah, it's a fun game. It doesn't work the way you expect. Like I thought I could just like read a book and learn shit, but no, you have to have like a certain background in that to even understand the book. So like,
yeah.
And the game lets you choose the beginning too, so you get like X amount of like perk points you can use, or points you could use to get perks. Some perks cost more points than others. But you can also take like negative traits to get more perk points. So like you start the game with like, I think like 6 points, and some perks cost like 4 points, 5 points. But you can take perk stuff like, oh, you're colorblind, so the whole game's in black and white, but it gives you like 10 more perk points to play with.
That's
Or
cool.
you're overweight, so you could like, so you get winded faster and you can't run as fast, but you get 10 more perk points. So there's a lot of room for role playing there too. So you could be like, oh, I am like asthmatic, so I'll put asthmatic as like a negative thing and get these perk points for it and invest it in stuff that like I am good at. Like it's pretty neat, like the amount of like character building and role playing you can do. You can also randomize the characters. You just want to pick like random character with random skills and random weaknesses. You can do that too.
Yeah.
Like there's some cool shit there. Like, there's a lot.
I've been waiting for a sale for this. I guess they're having sales, but I don't get the notification. I never get notifications for sales for this game, even though it's in my list.
Oh, that's a bummer. It was on sale like a little while ago. That's when I bought it. It was during the Steam like Halloween sale or something. But just get it. It's $20. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's
seriously,
$20.
it's worth it. And when it went on sale, it was like for 15. So.
Yeah, but maybe I can find it for cheaper somewhere else.
If you can get 3 buddies with you, you can buy that like that 4-pack for it. That game, like, it's like $60 for like a 4-pack of the game. So like $15 a pop. So you can get like 3 other people to like invest in it with you. That's what I wanted to do, but my brother was like, I can't wait. He just went and bought it.
I'll never find anyone to do that.
Bummer. No, it's pretty fun. I was digging what I was playing. I might stream it one day. Just have people watch me like fuck up and bumble.
Yeah.
Because it can be like, it's something that I like about it is the management, right? Like how things work is a little obtuse. It's not as easy as like opening up a menu, but that's kind of the charm of it. Because like, if my gun runs out of ammo, suddenly I gotta like put my gun away, go into my inventory, pull out a baseball bat. Like that's gonna be really hectic in a really scary scenario. So it kind of influences that when you play the game.
Yeah.
For example.
That's kind of one of the cool things that like The Last of Us did was, you know, you had to actively like go into your backpack and do stuff in there while things were still happening.
Yeah. So that's really neat. And you can like get upgrades to it too. So you can like a belt and you can put stuff on your belt that's like quick to access, but you can't put like, you're not going to put like a shotgun on your belt. It'll be stuff like a knife or like a flashlight that you can have quick access to. So that there's some cool shit there. There's like some cool ideas here that make it very intriguing and interesting to play through. Yeah, I say definitely check it out. If you can get it, check it out. It's a good time. Yeah, that's all I've been playing. I've been playing a lot. The discussion topic: what is a video game? Video game is art. Next question. No, jokes aside, like, what were you trying to? I guess I should say, like, what kind of discussion were you trying to have?
Okay, so. Here's what happened.
Okay, so.
I went on Reddit. Yeah, I know, big mistake. I was on Reddit, and someone was talking about how they really loved Hellblade, and they were just talking about, oh yeah, man, I love that it's this journey of a woman who's, in her time she's supposed to be this great warrior, but she's going through this like mental distress, and she can't really be looked at by her peers as a warrior when she's got this mental shit going on. But also it's her journey of going through that, and then also trying to be a strong warrior and going through her journey, and she's seeing things that no one else sees and no one believes her, and just how much the game touched him, and how much he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Narratively, visually, story wise, audio wise. And then I made the remark of, were you really talking, you're talking, I agree, it's a great experience, but you're not really talking about the video game part. Yeah. Which is a big part of that. And I was like, they could strip out the parts where you're actually, holding the controller. They can just strip that out and like make like a mini series of it. And
you can make that into a book and get like same experience.
Well, hold on now, because I don't want you. I don't want you to just agree with me here. I'm just telling you what I said. I'm just telling you what I said.
No, I'm paraphrasing what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just don't want you to agree with me yet.
Yeah.
Because I said they can strip out the part where you're holding the controller, and then put it out as like a mini series or something, and almost nothing would be lost. Now, I played that game, so I know you didn't play that game, but and I was talking about the second game specifically, because in the second game specifically, the parts where you're holding that controller are just bad.
You mentioned that to me. The parts of the controller you're doing stuff are not good and few and far between.
I made the comparison to Infinity Blade for the iOS, where you're like, that's basically what it is. If you haven't played that game, that's basically what it is. And then there's a lot of walking and solving puzzles, basic puzzles, and like that's it. Just straight line the whole way through. And I made this comment. I was like, you could just turn it into a mini series and nothing would be lost. Complete with like the whole binaural audio. Like I've seen fucking, you can do that shit on like a fucking normal movie and shit. Imogen Heap has released albums with binaural audio. Like it's not something that's like unique to a game. So
and let me guess, Reddit valued your opinion. And people commented you made a very good point.
No, quite the opposite, actually. So I got called fucking... The guy was like, you're fucking retarded. I don't know how else to describe it other than you're fucking retarded and brain dead.
What? Reddit dogpiling on someone with a different opinion? No way.
He was like, here's what he said. He said, what you said about this can be used for like a survival action game, like Alan Wake 2, like most survival action games, you could say the same thing about. And then I was like, I haven't really played Alan Wake 2, so I can't really speak for that. But most survival action games, you have so much more level of involvement and decision making, like am I gonna fight this enemy? Like I have limited resources, so am I gonna use my resources to fight this enemy, or am I gonna run away, or am I gonna explore the environment more and try to find more resources? But doing that, I might run into more enemies that I might have to encounter and use resources to deal with. Like you're making decisions like this in most survival horror games. That I don't think what I said about Hellblade you can attribute to most other games. He was like, not only could you say this about most survival horror games, you could say this about many popular games. He was like, you could say this about games right now that are extremely popular and extremely successful. And I was like,
okay, that is Ooh, I'm triggered. Okay.
Hold on. And then I was like, maybe I haven't played Alan Wake. Maybe you could say that about it, but I'm struggling to find a single game. I'm struggling to name a single game that you could say this about. Can you give me an example? And of course, he didn't give me any examples. However, you know, I'm downvoted the fuck out of hell. Like I don't understand how my take was controversial at all, aside from saying this specific game is not a very good video game. The video game parts of it are not very good. And I'm not saying you can just, I'm not saying her game bad, make a movie. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this specific game in the way it does, yeah, is bad, and it could just be a movie and you wouldn't lose anything from it. Is what I was saying.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I've been saying that shit for years. I've been saying this shit for years. My favorite games are the kind of games that only work as games, right? Like, if I made Pac-Man into a movie, before you say anything, shut up. I'm going somewhere with this. And I'm talking about like the original arcade Pac-Man. That is going to be a very different experience than what I can get playing Pac-Man on an arcade machine. That original experience. Same with Undertale. That's my go-to example.
Undertale is great. I always like to use like Outer Wilds. Like Nier Automata is a good example.
Another perfect example. Perfect example.
But I'm not even saying that, like, those are perfect examples of using the medium to its advantages, to do things you can only do in the medium of video games. Because if I think of a video game, okay, and then this brings us to, okay, well, what is a video game? Because I would undoubtedly, there's no question that Hellblade is a video game. It's absolutely a video game. As a matter of fact, there's not many. I don't think there's any game that exists that I would be like, I don't know if I'd call that a video game.
Maybe a visual novel.
Visual novel, yeah, that's close. But at least like visual novels,
they have that distinction of being called visual novels. Like,
yeah. But they also have like an element of choice that, I mean, you could say, well, you can do that in like a choose your own story book or something where it's like, turn to page 17 for this choice or whatever. Like those have kind of done that, but like those would be borderline. But,
but I know what you mean. And there's what I think the knee-jerk reaction from people is that, like, I played this game, it's a good story, therefore it's a good game, I think is what the mindset is.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like, when you judge a medium on something based on how much it resembles another medium, I'll make the argument you probably don't like that medium. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's other things that it contains from other media that you like about that, but it just happens to be in this box as well. Like if I were to draw, if I were to define video game, right? So that leads us to what is a video game, because I think this is the more important. I think this is the more interesting question: is, well, what is a video game, right? Not whether Hellblade is a good one or not. It's like, okay, well, how do we define video game? And this is how I would define it. Well, first I would have to define just game in general. Like, what is a game? And a game, to me, this is my own definition, is just like any activity that is like physically or mentally stimulating that has some form of rules or goal. And that's like a game. And so like a lot of things can fall under that, like board games, card games, sports, fall under that like definition. But you know, you wouldn't say like watching Netflix is a game, or like listening to music. There's nothing like that wouldn't fall under that definition. And then so if we extrapolate from that definition, video game would be that, but then like involving like digital, like there's a computer involved.
There's a software involved to it that like that you interact with. Yeah. No, I like that. It's a solid like baseline to help us define this.
And so, wait, can I pull up like a? Let me see if I can pull up like an MS Paint. I want to try something here, because if I were to draw, can you see this? Oh, this is all fucked up.
I cannot.
You're only gonna see this in the stream, but like if I were to envision the box, if I put video game, the whole thing, like if I bought a copy of Hellblade, right? Let's just say this is Hellblade. Okay. If I bought Hellblade, right? This is the box that it's in. This is not going to play on fucking. If you're listening to this is not going to play. But
I was gonna say like I can't see anything.
Oh wait, I think I can share this with you. Maybe. Right, Hellblade. Here's the box of Hellblade, right? And then within that box, you're gonna have like other smaller boxes, right?
Right.
And like if I segment this out like this, part of this box is gonna be what I would call the video game, right? And then other parts of that box is like the story, and then music, and like visual. So like within that entire box, you got these smaller boxes, but only this box I consider to be the unique video game part. The rest of this you can get from anything. You can get from like a movie, right? A movie is going to have the story, it's going to have music, and it's going to have visual.
Yeah, if you want to boil it down like the opposite of the spectrum, right? And that's all video game. Something like Pong, right? No, it's literally just straight video game shit. Yeah. No, I get it.
Well, Pong's gonna have like Pong would look a little different, because Pong would have. If we drew Pong's box here,
I don't think we're talking like original, like the first video game Pong.
Yeah, first video game Pong. Its video game box is gonna be huge. And it's not going to have it's not going to have a story box. It's not going to have a music box. Well, it has a little.
Pong had sound effects. I think it was just straight like.
Yeah, nothing. It had visuals though.
Yeah.
But not great visuals. But it had its video game box was huge.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying
the visuals are in surface to the game, because the visuals are literally like, here's the paddles, here's the ball. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that's what I mean is like, yeah, there's different makeup for what goes into a game, like you said. Like some factors are more important than others, but the actual video game part of it,
yeah,
that's something that lacks in a game like Hellblade.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying that more video game is better video game. I'm just saying if you're going to have less of the video game, it needs to be better. It just needs to be better than, it just needs to be better.
Yeah.
So this small part in Hellblade, this small part of video game that exists in that game, I don't think is very good.
Right, and that's what I try to get to. When people say like, "Oh, Hellblade's a good video game," I was like, "Is it a good video game or is it a good story?
Yeah,
Is it a good
yeah.
experience?"
And so
That's fine.
that's
It could be those things and not be a good video game.
my thing is The Last of Us. You know, if I made the box for The Last of Us, you know, the video game part, it's gonna be an okay size video game part, but the story is gonna be fucking huge. And then like, you know, graphics are gonna be huge. And then you know, like music is there. But really what I'm getting out of The Last of Us is story, and I'm getting visuals, but story and graphics mostly. And that's why it translates pretty good into the TV show, because I think the important parts of what makes TV good is having a good story and having good visuals, uh, and not so much the part, you know, not the video game part. Um, so that's my that's my PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, but even then, like with how can I word it? Your thing with good TV too, right? There's a lot that goes into that too. Like you said, good visuals, good story, but there's also like things people don't think about, right?
With TV, you got a
Um,
lot. You got a lot
you
more
got a lot
stuff
with
that's
it.
unique. I wouldn't even say it's
Yeah,
unique to TV, but it's things you have to think about more when you're working with that medium than, because you know you could do like cinematography and acting. I think these are more important in a TV show than they are to a video game, because a video game
yeah,
can be good without any of that. Uh, but a TV show cannot be good, or like just motion picture in general cannot be good without good like cinematography and acting, uh, story, shit like that. Like I think these are more crucial
exactly,
to TV than they are for a video game. Now the fact that
exactly.
it so those components from, let's talk about The Last of Us then. Those components for The Last of Us in the video game, I think, were better in the game than they were in the show, and that's why I like the game of it more than I like the show, is because you spend a lot of time with more, you spend a lot of time with those, you spend a lot more time with those characters and getting more of that
Yeah,
story. Uh,
exactly. The show development happens in the gameplay. Like
yeah, yeah,
when you start the game, like Ellie can't do anything. She hides with you. She's not a nuisance, but she can't do anything. And then later, right, starts to help you out. She throws bricks at bad guys. She gets a gun. She can shoot people. Like, and that's part of the game coexisting with the story, right? Like
yeah,
Joel grows closer to her narratively, and you, the player, grow closer to her because she's helping you out during the game stuff.
yeah,
And those two work together, and that development happens while you're playing the game. You guys walk through, this post apocalyptic world, and you make comments about the world that used to be, and you teach her things about how the world used to work, and that grows the bond with the characters and grows the bond with you and you as the player. They work together on it. You can make the same argument with games like Persona, where they literally gamifies your relationship by assigning levels to your friendship and then giving you perks when you hit those levels that assist you in combat and exploration.
yeah,
So yeah, I agree with you. Like it works so much better there because not only does it have the time to breathe, but it also does what it's intended to do and unify the player with the character, which is something that's very
yeah.
unique to video games,
To a
right?
video
Like
game, yeah.
I don't
Like
have
if
to
I
watch a
were,
movie and be like, oh, I don't like this movie. I can't get into this character's shoes. I don't like this book. I can't relate to the character. Versus like a game, like no, I have to. I am the character. I'm playing them. I am literally in their shoes. Like I have to relate to them to an extent.
Like
You
if I
know,
were to
like
draw, if I were to draw a near automata on this in this box, the thing is, yeah. So games, the video game part can interact with, and like this is what separates a great video game from like just a normal like a Hellblade, right? Is that the video game part can interact with uh, the story part, and can also interact with the audio part, you know, the music, and can interact with the visual part. And this is a rarity. This you do not get very often. Where
yep. The
everything
only games I can think of
everything
that do
is
that,
everything is
yeah,
fucking
everything.
cohesive.
Yeah, the only games I can think of that do that, Near, right? Undertale, and surprise on this, I haven't talked about it, but the new XCOM game do that very well.
Wait, there's a new XCOM. Oh, you're talking
I
about
mean, the
the.
new XCOM games, yeah, the latest one,
Oh yeah,
XCOM, 2013 and up.
yeah,
Those games do that very well because there really isn't an overarching like story, right? Like there isn't like all these side characters and interpersonal relationships. It's hey, you run this federation, protect the world from aliens. And the drama is based in your decisions. If you fail to protect certain countries, they pull out of the war effort. Characters you develop, you make a wrong call as a leader, they get killed. Those characters can be randomly generated. You can name them yourself. You kind of make the story with your decisions. The game doesn't tell you you made this wrong choice, so here's a scripted event. It's like,
yeah,
no, this happened dynamically. Like the gameplay and the story literally work off of each other. You cannot get that story without the gameplay part of it.
yeah,
By making your choices, by deciding like, okay, today am I going to do a mission or am I going to upgrade equipment? Am I going to protect France? Am I going to protect Brazil? Like, can I afford
yeah,
to ignore this country one more day or for one more encounter? Meanwhile, that clock is ticking. The aliens are getting stronger. They're going to take over more of the world. It's an uphill battle. Like that's a perfect way to do it. Like
yeah.
if I
And
ran through a game of XCOM, I could write a story around that, and it'll be different from like what I experienced, what you experienced. It's incredible.
and you can only get this kind of cohesion when the entire team is like talking to each other. So that's the thing that separates like that's why when I play something like Starfield, you can fucking tell that that entire team was just working on shit in isolation. Like the guy that was working on the story, you might have had even like 5 different guys working on 5 different stories in that game, but none of them talk to each other. And like none of them talk to each other. And the guys that were actually working on the video game like mechanics part, you know, maybe the part where like, oh, this is like I'm the gunplay guy, or I'm the guy that works on like the crafting, or I'm the guy that works on the ship building. None of those guys talk to each other, and none of them talk to the story guys, who none of them talk to like the music guys, and just you have just no cohesion. It's a fucking mess. It's very obvious to me, especially after playing something like Near, yeah, or something like where just everything is so fucking cohesive that the music guy had to talk to the guy that made the hacking mini game because they had to integrate those fucking songs together so that they seamlessly transition in and out, and the story guy had to talk to both of those guys because the visual guy, the guy who was working on the visuals for that, had to tie everything together and integrate that with the story because there's a story pivotal moment that happens because of all this shit. Like it's very obvious that when a game does this and when a game does not do this.
Right. I mean, another great example is look at Doom Eternal, right? Like the music was so integrated into the game that they had to fire Mick Gordon because he couldn't make his deadlines. They're like, dude, you're literally holding back all the rest of development because you can't make your deadlines here.
Well, hold on now. You've missed some. There's been some information about that. There's been some information about that.
The point is,
the Mick Gordon is not the bad guy there, actually.
The point is,
but
the music was integrated to the game in a way more than just it's a track to listen to. It is part of the game experience. Is the soundtrack. The way it dynamically shifts with how you're doing, what demons you're fighting, whether you're winning or not, what weapons you're using, like that is all relative to the experience, and it all has to coincide together. And you can tell versus something again like Starfield, where the music's there to be music, and like that's really it.
Yeah. And so, like, in like one of these scenarios where everything's cohesive, I consider all of that to be part of the video game experience because it all contributes to the purpose of like the player experience, basically the overall thing. So bringing it back to Hellblade.
Yeah.
Fuck man, if you haven't played that game, you don't understand how much of a video game it is not. I cannot stress enough that it is so much. It is so borderline video game. And the video game parts of it are just like you could just take that shit out. It would be a better experience because for one, it would be less downtime, you know? Like the parts where you just had to run away from something, and then oh no, you hit the terrain wrong, and now you died from no reason, and you just have to start it over. But it's literally just you running from a thing. It's like
it could have just been a cutscene.
It's just been a cutscene. Like I'm just holding forward. I would just rather watch this at this point. That's. But again, just don't just agree with me. Tell me how this creeps into other fucking insanely popular and successful games. Like what else does this attribute to?
A great example I give is like the God of War games, right? Like I think they're fine games, but I preferred the older gameplay to God of War. Granted, like,
yeah,
the new story's good, the camera angle's interesting, but I feel like the original gameplay for it was better because it was trying to be a game first. With this, it's trying to be a movie. That's why it has this like, oh, we have this like seemingly no cuts with the camera, right? The camera's always on your back and it pans in and pans out, which is cool, but it's not trying to be. It takes away from the game part of it because now it's a little shittier to play. You could argue like, well, the game has these like systems and the gears built around it, but it still feels really clunky compared to like the older game. That's like one great example. Trying to think of another one.
Yeah,
like,
I just wouldn't use. I wouldn't use the way I described Hellblade is such a far extreme to me that I just wouldn't use that for like any other game. Even though I agree with you about God of War, like I would just rather watch it than play it. But in fact, I did try playing it, and then I played it once, and then I was like, I don't want to play this. But yeah, it's just not like Hellblade is such an extreme. Like it's on Game Pass, guys. Hellblade is on Game Pass. I urge you to just try it out. It's actually worth experiencing. It's just I don't think it's a good video game. And when you play it,
it's worth experiencing exactly once. It sounds like, and then
well, yeah, exactly, because that's all you get from it.
Done.
Yeah. There's nothing more to get out of it.
Yeah, I can't think of like. Because the easiest thing to pick on are like these games that are trying to be movies, right? Like, oh, there's a cinematic experience in a game. Those are the easiest ones to pick on. But there are other examples where a game like tries to lean too far into like doing one thing, and I just can't think of any at the top of my head right now.
Well, yeah, I also struggle to think of some because not like I try to come up with like maybe like Limbo, like maybe something like those games where you're kind of just running to the right and just solving puzzles and like running and jumping, but like, it would be nitpicking at that point.
Yeah, to an extent, but even Limbo is like trying to be a game because there is more gameplay there to interact with. And the fact that the game is like voiceless, right? The story is like what you infer onto it. And so I will argue like playing Limbo and watching Limbo is a very different experience. And it wouldn't be the same one-to-one thing. If you take the gameplay out of Limbo, you are losing something. And your ability to like infer upon what's actually happening based on what you experience from Limbo is going to be lost. Even games that try to be cinematic, like Mass Effect, like they fucking nail it with the game side of it. And again, it goes back to that example of like the game mechanics and the non-game mechanics working with each other. The story is directly written based on your choices. There are some scripted events that are going to happen either way, but a lot of what happens is based on the story. Especially Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 the game starts off with telling you, hey, there's going to be a suicide mission. Make sure you're prepared. And if you're not and people die, that's on you. You made that call. You know, that's something that's very different from like if I watch like a live stream of someone playing Mass Effect 2 and then watching them get their teammates killed versus like me being the one to make that call, me deciding we're okay to take this on now. I can skip this character's loyalty mission and then everyone getting fucking wiped because of that. Like, that's what gets really tricky because I try to find an example, but the easiest ones to pick on are the ones that are trying to be movies. Order 1886, for example. But even then, Order 1886 is like trying to be a game.
I mean, I don't think you'll truly understand unless you play Hellblade 2, the second game specifically. That first game was way more. It's crazy how like much of a downgrade in terms of like gameplay the second game is from the first game. Because in the second game, you never fight more than one guy at a time. It's always one-on-one, and then if there is more than one guy, you have to kill the first guy first before the second guy spawns, and then you're locked in combat with the second guy, and you kill that guy, then the third guy comes out. It's like straight up Infinity Blade, where in the first game, there'll be like 4 guys surrounding you, and then you have to fight them all at the same time, and like make decisions as, okay, I'm gonna turn around and get this guy. Oh no, this guy's coming at me. Like the first game was way better at it. Yeah, I don't know. Hellblade 2 is such an extreme that you like have to play it to like really understand what I'm talking about. Because there's no other. I've never played any other game that's made me question this before. To the point where
I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything that's even close to that. Like, even Walking Dead, like, takes an extra effort to, like, not gamify it, but, like, that is another example of, like, a story-driven game that only works as a game because, again, you're the one making all the choices there.
Yeah.
Like, the Telltale games even do a great job of that. So.
And then, it always does the thing where it's like, it reveals your choices to you. Like, was this your card? Was this your card? And it was always funny because.
Even though the game's going to criticize you either way. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I know exactly what you mean.
I got downvoted to hell on this, but I don't think I'm wrong, and I don't think it applies to any other game. So yeah, I would be interested. I think this conversation is more interesting to me than whether Hellblade is good or not, because ultimately I don't really care if it's good. I just think the video game part could be better.
It's hard to define. Like, I can't think of too many products that have been released where I'm like, that's not a game. There's definitely products I've seen that I'm like, that'd be a better movie, but I don't think there's anything came out where I'm just like, that's not a game. I could definitively say that's not a game. I can't think of anything like that. I got an idea. I got an idea. Jam session on the DS.
What is
What are you
that?
doing, kid? Jam session. It's like a virtual guitar on the DS. Like
Oh,
that is, yeah. I don't think it released as a video game. It's a DS product. It's a DS cart, but I wouldn't define that as a game.
yeah, I would say that's an instrument,
Yeah, that is
like a
100% an instrument.
virtual instrument.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the Switch has like the Switch has stuff like that. It has Korg. What the fuck is that shit called?
I don't know what my kid's doing. He's like just crying. Oh, poor sorry.
Yeah, the Switch has like instruments that are just like straight up instrument. They're like copies of stuff you can get on PC, and you can load into like Ableton, but it's just on the Switch. I forget what it's. I think it's Korg something.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
like instruments and like a sequencer. Yeah.
yeah. Jam session is like a virtual guitar. Like
Yeah.
you hold it like a DS with one hand, right? And depending on where you're pushing on the D-pad, if you're holding L trigger down or not, those are different chords on the guitar. And you strum on the screen, and that's when you strum it. And you, again, it's different if you strum up or down. It's like a real guitar. Like it's trying really hard to like be a digital guitar. So I wouldn't consider that a game.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like I can't really think of anything else that's not a game. But again, also Jam Session isn't claiming to be a game either. Like it's very upfront that it is not a game. Yeah, sorry to get off topic there, but yeah, I'll have to just play Hellblade, I guess, and just really understand it.
You gotta play it. It's like not long at all. Just set it to easy mode. You don't even have to set it to easy mode because it's already easy. Yeah, it's like not. There's very little to it, man. There's very little to it, and the stuff that is there is like Infinity Blade. It's just not. It's not. It would be better without any of it. I'm just like be honest. Like there's no decisions you're making ever. There's like nothing. Like not to say that again, it's absolutely a video game. I just think the parts of it that are the video game are weak. Even if the visuals are very strong, music strong, story strong, depending on if you fuck with it or not. But like the video game part is just not. It's just not there. It is not there. But your mind will be blown by how bad it is when you play it because you've never played anything like it. It's like impressive in that way, Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. If I'm wrong, just call me a fucking dumbass and say I'm brain dead and fucking. But at least have some examples. Yeah, because that guy said survival horror, and I'm like, no, it's like survival horror. I'd never say that for that because there's just so many unique aspects that you get out of a game. Like, again, he used Alan Wake 2 as an example. I own that game. I haven't really played it yet. So if Alan Wake 2 is that, then I would say, yeah, same fucking thing then. I just haven't played it. But typically survival horror means you're making a lot of decisions about how you're going to proceed through that, Like I have this gun or I've got 3 bullets in it and there's enemies up here. Like, am I gonna use my gun? Am I gonna use my knife? Am I gonna just run past them? If I try to run past them, I might take damage. If I take damage, can I heal it? Am I gonna use my healing items? Like there's so many decisions that you're making like on the fly in those types of games that I just don't think applies to this. But that was all I had. Yeah, I don't think I'm wrong on this at all, but you can tell me fucking Okay. Are you still there?
Sorry, I'm here. I muted myself because my kid was losing his shit, and he shit himself really hard again. It was really bad. I was like, oh my god, kid. He just started crying, and then he just stopped crying, and he just like, and then he started crying again immediately after.
Okay, well we're almost done. Let's some games are coming out. I don't really care about most of these. I will say there's a game called Empire of the Ants that's coming out today, and it looks fucking awesome. It's like a genius.
What is it?
It's an RTS game where you're like ants and beetles and insects and shit. And it's so fucking genius. It's like Total War, but with bugs. And it's just such a genius concept because, yeah, like ants and shit do work on like a colony system, right? You know, they have like hierarchy.
Yeah.
They got queens and they've got, you know, they're very territorial. And so like it's a genius concept for an RTS game. It's in on mostly positive on Steam right now. It just came out today, so like I'm not an RTS guy at all, but I just like this concept.
Yeah.
And graphically it looks great too.
Yeah, I'm not an RTS guy either, but that sounds like a cool concept. I fuck with that.
So that's $40 right now on Steam.
You say it was called Empire of Ants?
Empire of the Ants. Yeah. And let's see
The
what
River
else.
City Saga looked pretty cool. That was like that was those River City games, but with like the Musou, like Three Kingdoms stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
that sounds really cool.
This is the second one of these they made, I think.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That looks cool.
Oh, it's like a Musou game too. It's like a Dynasty Warriors, but like side scrolling.
Which is funny to me because like the Musou games kind of have a monopoly on the Three Kingdoms saga. Like it's weird to me that like I could see why, like culturally, like I don't know a lot about Chinese culture and mythology and stories, but I know about like the Three Kingdoms stuff because of Dynasty Warriors.
I know there is a Total War. There's a Total War game for the Three Kingdoms that is not a Musou game. It's like straight up just Total War. Like Lu Bu is in it, but he's not like the Lu Bu you know from Dynasty Warriors. He's just the real ass Lu Bu. Yeah, this looks cool.
Yeah.
This is $30.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that that's like the association here. Like, oh, it has to be this like Musou style, like a bunch of enemies you got to take down. That'd be like if some company made like a King Arthur game and it was an RTS, and then every time after that, anytime anybody wanted to make a video game about King Arthur, they all had some RTS element.
I would not like that. That would be interesting, I think. I don't know shit about King Arthur shit, to be honest.
I just threw an example of like something we might have heard of.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't know about any of the Three Kingdoms shit until Dynasty Warriors. I thought that story was made up for the game, but no, these characters, like the combat, not the combat,
well, it's fantasized
the battles. It's fantasized, but it's like I got like an element behind it.
It's based on
Yeah, it's based on like a well, how can I word it? A story that's told from people to people that people in China would like know the story. Same way, like I'm sure if you're in the UK, you know the story of King Arthur. Like,
yeah.
I can't think of any like more American American versions of that. Maybe like Paul Bunyan, I guess. Like if like some company got really popular making a Paul Bunyan survival horror game.
We don't really have like America doesn't really have cultural folklore like that. I mean, we kind of do, but no one gives a shit about them. You know,
nobody gives a shit about them outside of like where they sprung from. Like people know the big ones, right?
Local.
I guess like Bigfoot. maybe like
Jersey Devil, or I mean, Bigfoot's kind of global.
yeah. But like if you look at like regional like folk heroes and stuff like Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan,
I mean, I guess it would be like actual historic events, maybe like the Revolutionary War or some shit,
yeah.
or fucking no, what the Boston Tea Party or some shit, like
Well, the
shit like
problem is they're
that.
so recent; it's hard to fantasize because like
Underground
they're not
Railroad.
recent.
Well, yeah, this fucking country is not very old, it turns out. So
Yeah, versus countries like like England and China. Like
yeah,
these are stories from like 1,000 years ago, longer. So you could like fantasize like a lot of the imagery in those stories, right? We see in modern fantasy already.
yeah.
Like sword, like King Arthur could fit just fine in like a sword and sorcery RPG. But I don't know where you fit someone like Paul Revere, George Washington,
Yeah.
other than like I don't know. My kid is giggling. I don't know what he's giggling at now.
Mario Luigi
He's like, "I'm
Brothership is out.
I hear that's like not great.
Really?
I hear it's okay, but everyone just seems to say it's okay, especially compared to like some of the other like Mario and Luigi games. But I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of those games. I played Mario and Luigi Brothers in Time. That one's fucking bop. That's fun as hell. But I haven't really played anything outside of that. I hear Superstar Saga is good, and it's on Switch online, but I've never played it.
Um.
God.
Oh, Taiko no
Taiko.
Tetsujin.
Oh yeah.
I believe this is the first ever Steam release of this series.
Of time.
Yeah. Finally on Steam. I don't know if there's like drum peripherals this works with.
I'm sure like all the drum peripherals use USB, so I'm sure you can just make it work.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's finally. Oh, it's got AI generated content. I'm glad they come right out and say, "Hey, this has AI generated content." My opinion on that has changed.
Yeah.
I'm now against. I'm now against that kind of shit, but not for the reasons that you would think.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's just because if I'm paying top dollar for this video game, I'm paying you to work on this game. I'm paying you to develop this game. So when you offload that with this shit, when you outsource it to AI, then you're not using the money I'm giving you to work on that game. You're now just pocketing that money and going, okay, we can offload this to some bullshit. And that's the part I don't like. Black Ops 6 has some AI shit in it. And I think it's bullshit that game is $70 fucking, and they're like offloading some of the shit. So some of the unlockable, it's like minor shit, but some of the unlockable like banner, like profile banners that you just unlock and you just put in your profile, some of those are AI generated in a very obvious way.
Oh, and crazy.
And it's like you can just get your art guy to just fucking draw some. You can just draw this. I mean, it's so inconsequential that it's like. But they have a bunch of them, so there's a lot of them. But I'm like, you can just get someone to draw this, especially like you're owned by Microsoft. You have the resources to just do this. But also the game is fucking $70 and has a battle pass and it has all this bullshit. And you're telling me you couldn't just make this. Like that's the part that I don't like.
That's a slippery slope too. Can you imagine like the battle pass content being AI generated?
Yeah,
Like, oh, there's a gun skin
exactly.
that's AI generated.
No, yeah, exactly. That's it's so shitty. It's fucking shitty. Like, I don't care about the use of AI, but when I'm paying you to, you're charging people, like, there's premiums attached to this game to ensure you don't have to do this, yet you're still doing it, which means you're just pocketing all that extra money for personal gain and doing all this like low cost bullshit. In addition to that, it's so fucking scummy. Yeah, so that's the part that I'm against it.
No, I agree. I've always been against it. I think anything that takes jobs away from people, I'm like, nope, fuck you. Like, especially something like art. To an extent, like if you try to commodify art, I'm like, no, that's where I'm gonna draw the line.
I mean, everything's a commodity.
Like, let me give you an example, right? If there is an AI tool, let's say I decide, hey, I want chicken for dinner. And there's an AI assistant that can be like, okay, you want chicken? Choose a chicken recipe. Okay, pick that recipe. Here's how to make it. Here's the ingredients you need. Here's all the places that have these ingredients on sale for the cheapest price. Would you like me to order it for you? Like that's what I'd like to see AI do. Cool, do that for me while I go make art. Not, hey, make art for me while I go work.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it doing shit. I don't have a problem with it just making art. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it.
Especially with like how bad AI art is. Like so many times I got a bunch of family that are old as shit, so they can't tell something's AI generated. So they share this like picture. Even if it's like it's supposed to be artwork, it's like, oh, here's a cute picture sharing some good vibes, and it's like, okay, that person has 3 fingers, and they have 3 fingers and 2 thumbs. That's obviously AI generated, but you didn't see that. So you're sharing this dumbass picture, telling me to have a good day.
Yeah, but if you couldn't tell, that you just wouldn't know.
That's what I mean. It drives me nuts. Like it's so obvious, but like I think older people are blind to it.
Yeah.
Or they'll show a picture they think is real. And it's like if you support our troops, and it's an obviously AI picture of like a soldier like crying. And it's like it's obviously AI generated. That dude has 2 different eye colors. And his left and right leg are the same leg. Like, what are you doing?
It's like, oh my god, did you see Donald Trump just like suplex the grizzly bear? It's like, holy shit. It's like, no, that's AI.
That's what I mean. Like, or whatever. Point is, AI bad. Continue.
Yeah, anyway, the Taiko game, it says it uses it for vocals, synthesized vocals. So.
Okay, is that AI or is it synthesized vocals? Because like Vocaloid's been doing that forever.
Well, that's probably what they mean. But there is AI. You can use AI to like simulate, a speech of someone else. You use AI to synthesize a voice.
Yeah,
Here's Snoop Dogg rapping the 8 alphabet song.
But hasn't like Vocaloid been doing that forever?
Well, Vocaloid is different.
Those are different because those are like synthesized voices. Like they made the voices up.
Vocaloid is literally like a synthesizer that just sounds like it's like tuned to sound like vowels.
Okay.
Like that's an actual that's an actual uh, someone put in the work to make that sound like a voice. This is an actual, yeah. This sounds like it's like AI that is mimicking the sound of. They're like almost, they're different sides of a different coin, but or different sides of the same coin, I guess. But
Yeah.
they're different though, but they're not too far away from each other. But yeah,
I see what you mean. Like one is like someone putting in the work, basically making an instrument, synthesizing an instrument that sounds like a person singing.
Yeah, it's the same way they did it back in the days where it was, you had like fucking Commodore 64 games where, all you had was like a fucking like wave. You had like a square wave that you can modulate into like a sine wave, and then doing that, you can kind of get some vowel sounds, and you put those together, and it just sounds like a robot talking. You load up Robotron, and they've came up with some kind of synthesizer waveform that sounds like a voice. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Like that's okay. I was gonna say I thought Vocaloid's been doing that forever, but now that I know there's like actual work behind it,
Yeah.
that's more than just here's lyrics, here's the song, push a button.
Yeah, if you've ever used Vocaloid, I've used it like back in the days. You have to like actually program. It's like very fucking difficult. I don't know what it's like now, but yeah, no, you actually have to like program that shit to sound anything like words, especially since it's only Japanese too. You can't like really get English sounding vocal. I mean, you probably could, but it'd be difficult.
I'm sure you could, but yeah, it's not programmed for that.
Yeah.
The vowels and consonants are different, so
Yeah.
how they sound is going to be different.
Slitterhead.
If you program, if it sings in a Japanese accent, speak English, that'd be.
I'm sure it's been a while since I've used it, but I loaded it up once when it was like fresh. I'm like, this is fucking confusing. And
like if you make it say hello, will it say like hello, or will it like Japaneseify it? Say like hello.
well, you can't really do that. You can only put in the like Japanese like consonants in it.
Oh, so, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so there are some like I said, like some consonants that just aren't available there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you couldn't make it say hello. It'd say like hello. Like that would be the only option there.
Yeah, you could, but it would be harder. It'd be harder to do that than just make it say like, konnichiwa or some shit.
Okay, that makes sense.
Slitterhead's coming out tomorrow. I'm excited for this game because it looks like the exact kind of shitty fucking game that I like.
Yeah, that kind of jank, like AA jank, but fun.
Yeah,
you don't get that anymore.
Like a Deadly Premonition almost, where it's like a cult classic at this point because like it's not a good game, but it's a very charming and lovable game. And that's what this looks like. The reviews are for this mixed reviews, but that's what I expected for something like this. So,
a phrase I say a lot. Is that, and it goes for this game. This is a game that not everyone's gonna like, but a lot of people are gonna love.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited for this, man. I kind of want to play this.
Cool. It looks cool. I'm into it. I fucks with it.
That's really all I care about to talk about. I guess Tetris Forever is coming out next Tuesday. That's more of a that's more like a historical. That's one of those games they've been putting out, kind of like the Atari collection, where it's like more of a documentary that's embedded in the video game too.
Yeah.
So you get like a history lesson as well. You know, like the Karateka game. It came out as like, okay, here's every version of Karateka and how this game is a. Here's the legacy that this game had on games to follow, like Prince of Persia. Tetris, fucking classic games. Arguably, oh shit, it's got fucking Tetris Battle Gaiden. Hi.
What? You were really excited for that. Tetris Battle Gaiden. You were hyped for that. You were hyped for that. I don't know what came over you, man, but you went to a different place right there.
Game's fucking awesome. This game's awesome, dude. Tetris Battle Gaiden, Super Nintendo, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tetris, arguably one of the greatest games ever made. Like it's
just a very pure game. Like it is at its core. That is the opposite end of the spectrum of what we were talking about earlier. That is like at its core a video game.
Yeah, it's 100% video game.
Yeah, to the point when it was time to make a movie about it. They didn't make a movie. They didn't make a Tetris movie. They made a movie about like
how it was made,
being developed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like meta. This is the only way you can make a movie about a game like this. Is like it's got to be like a meta. Well, they try to do Battlefield or like not Battlefield, Battleship, and they've tried to do shit where it's like, how do you turn this into a movie? The answer is not well.
Oh my god! I saw when I was in college, I was at GameStop. And they had Battleship, the movie, the game on the 3DS. And I was like, this is like, what's wrong, booger? And I was like, we came full circle here. It's a video game based on a movie, based on a board game. What is this? Oh my god. My kid's nose is... He didn't hurt himself, he just can't keep his finger out of there. My wife freaks out when he has a nosebleed. She's like, how's his buddy? How's his buddy? I'm like, yeah, because he's fucking putting his finger up there.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, not to the point where your nose bleeds.
You'd sometimes sometimes you get like those sharp ass ones.
Blow your nose. When I was a kid, I picked my nose, and I had a big booger, like really deep in. And I like picked it out. And as soon as I picked it out, it just started bleeding. I thought I was dying. I started crying. I thought I like did something wrong, and I was like crying. And like when I complained to my parents, they're like, "You're an idiot, dude. Just shut up."
You told him to blow his nose, and that reminded me that I didn't know how to blow my nose. I didn't know what that meant until I was in like high school. I'm pretty sure.
What?
Yeah, I did not know how to blow my nose. I'm completely serious. Like I did not know, and I would like watch people do it. I would be like, "Oh, okay, he's about to fucking blow his nose. Let me learn what the fuck. Let me learn how to do this." And I would watch people do it and still not get it.
You just exhale with your nose. Like you didn't think to do that?
It's not as when you think about it, it's not as obvious as you would think, man. At least not to me.
So what did you use? What did you use tissues for other than to jerk off into?
I would just
use tissues.
I would just after I'd like sneeze. I would just like wipe the excess away, but yeah, it would not. Like I would try to blow my nose, but in reality, I would just like, I don't know what the fuck I would do. I would just like use it to wipe the excess off. but most of the shit was not getting into the napkin. Yeah. No, I was a weird
That's
kid,
crazy.
man. I did not
Wild.
catch on.
Wild. That's wild. I can't imagine that. Like you must have sneezed before. Like you can't think like, okay, that, but like controlled.
Well, because sneezing is different because you just like involuntary. So I don't think I fully understood what was happening to my nose when I sneezed. But yeah, like I would try to blow my nose and just could not get it. Yeah.
Can you like, okay, random question. I'm trying to go so. Can you like make yourself burp?
Yeah. I used to be really good at it, but not so much anymore. Like I can't whistle anymore. I used to be really good at whistling. I can't really do that anymore.
I've never been able to whistle. I've never been able to whistle. I bring it up because like I got really high once when I was in high school, and I went to burp, but I guess I was so fucked up I like breathed in. And I realized I sucked in more air, and I was like, "Oh, I can make myself burp if I do that." So I just sat there, just high as shit, just
yeah.
It was grossing everybody out. I'm pissed off at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do that.
I didn't know people could. I didn't know people could like when people were like, "I can make myself burp." I was like, "How do you do that? How do you just do that?" Couldn't imagine like that working. I was really fucked up, and some wires were crossed, and I was like, "Oh, that's how I do it." I can't make myself fart. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, yeah. Nose blowing, man. It's not as obvious as you think. I only thought of that because you told him to blow his nose, and I'm like, does he know? Does he know what that means?
Yeah, he does it. He does it. He just he does it. He's
I'm sure as fuck did not. Yeah.
My mom taught him how to do it. And I was like, "How'd you teach you that?" She's like, "I just told him to blow his nose," and I went, and he did it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm just a fucking idiot.
I don't know. Like, maybe your parents just didn't teach you.
Well, from the way you sound, it sounds like you don't have to be taught. Sounds like you're just born knowing.
My mom taught him.
Yeah, but you said she just told him to blow his nose.
Well, that's how I found out he knew to do it, because I was hanging out with him, and she was like, "Blow your nose," and he was like, and I was like, "When did you learn that?" She's like, "Oh, I taught him how to do it earlier. I was like, how'd you teach him?" And she was like, "Oh, I put the napkin over and I told him to blow," and he looked at me and I went, and then he went. And now he knows.
Yeah, no, it took
I hope
me
you heard what I was doing. I wasn't just like not making it.
Oh. No, yeah, it took me a little longer to catch on to that.
I still, since you admitted something to yourself, I'll listen to you. I still don't know how to tie my shoes.
That's
like
insane.
So conventionally, I could tie a knot on my shoes, right? But it looks ugly as shit. I don't know the whole like the way kids are taught, right? You know,
okay, well,
chase the bunny around the tree, like that whole thing.
It's function over form, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if it looks like shit. Does your shit come untied very easily?
No.
Yes, exactly.
If anything, it's too hard to come untied.
No, that's
I don't know
great.
The whole like, you know, when you watch TV and be like, "How do I tie my shoes?" It's like, oh, you chase the bunny around the tree back in the hole.
Yeah, I don't know that shit.
Yeah, I literally like. So I take each side string, I tie it in a knot, and then I roll it up into bunny ears, tie those ears in a knot, and then I'm done. Like that's what I do. I don't know the whole thing around it. You know, loop the loop and pull.
Yeah,
I don't know all that.
Because the normal way to do it is to like do one bunny ear and then like twist it around that somehow. I've never learned how to do it the normal people way.
Yeah, the correct way. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like 2 bunny ears and then just tie them together, and that's it. But I do it like 3 times. I do like 3 knots, and it never comes loose. But it's been a while since I've tied my shoes because I use I've got like boa. They're called boa laces, where it's like a crank. You like crank it.
I've heard of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because like I wear like I like bike every day, so they're like waterproof shoes, and you just like crank them, and like nothing can get in.
when I was a kid, like what were those called? There are these shoes that had these special
Heelys.
laces that were like a thing. No.
Oh,
They had these laces that were like crooked looking. They look like crazy straws. These laces.
what?
And the idea is that they tied themselves. So you literally you pull up on them, and your shoes were tight because like they're so like crazy looking that they didn't come undone easily. You have to keep doing it every like other hour or so, but you just pull up on them and that was it. And they were like really curly. Like I remember them being really curly and crooked looking, like a crazy straw.
Huh.
And it stretched out. It was like elastic almost. So like you could stretch it out, and it was like the full length of the string. But when you let go of it, it was like half of that, and that's how it stayed tight. I can't remember if there's like a special shoe that did it, or it worked with any type of shoe, but I can't remember what they were called. Fuck. I'm gonna see my mom today. I'm sure she remembers what I'm talking about. She probably doesn't, but
Yeah, my shoe game used to be crazy. I would have the long ass laces so that I could do the checkerboard. I would checkerboard them, two different laces on the front of my shoes, so it looked like checkerboards.
oh, they're literally just called like
Crazy
curly
straw.
shoelaces or silly laces.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm misremembering them. They're just like curly looking. Hold on, I'm gonna send you a picture.
but did they have like the function? They function better than normal laces.
I wouldn't say better.
Oh,
Like you don't tie them is the thing. Like you loop them around like the laces like you would normally, and you just pull up on them. And because they're like curly, they kind of tighten themselves and they tighten up on their own. But you gotta like pull them all the time. At least that's what I remember. I'm gonna send you a picture.
yeah. I don't know. Laces technology could be improved. I think.
There's some pictures of like shoes using those laces. Like
What the fuck?
yeah, this was like the shit when I was a kid, dude. There was like a year where you weren't cool if you didn't have crazy laces.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that actually looks pretty cool.
yeah. Like that picture of the kid with them, I was like, that kid would have been cool as shit back in kindergarten. The kid would have been getting all kinds of pussy. Like,
Yo, that kindergarten pussy. Those were the days.
oh my god, nobody like take that out of context. But no, jokes aside, like no, that was like the cool thing when I was a kid. I was like probably like late 90s. I was in kindergarten. And like that was like the cool thing. Like 98, 99. That was like the hotness, the hot shit.
Yeah, I remember not having any of the hot shit because we were poor. So, you know, you would see the kids with the light up shoes with the fucking lights on them. Be like, oh hell yeah, dude, I want that. Or you know, the Heelys, all the cool shit. The shit with the grind pads on them, so you could like grind down rails.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah, those didn't take off like Heelys did, but I remember those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Heelys had them. Eventually, they built them in the Heelys, but uh, yeah, yeah. No, I was never a shoe guy anyway. I was just
I
wear
wasn't a
like
shoe guy either, but
skate shoes.
those were cool because I was like a dumb kindergarten. I didn't have to tie my shoes, pull them
Yeah,
up, and they were done. And they looked cool. Like everyone thought they were cool, so everyone had some. So I was like aware.
it's not cool if
They do look
everyone
pretty
has
cool.
it.
No, no, it's not. You felt cool
Yeah,
because everyone else had it. But
that's just called.
these actually look pretty cool. I think I'm gonna try to bring them back. got some old Converse that like I'm not wearing right now. I think I might just get those shoelaces.
Yeah. It turns out what's cool now is old shit.
Yeah.
Old shit is cool again. We've come full circle.
Yeah, I saw like flannel is like cool again.
Yeah.
But I think it was a while ago, so I don't think it's cool anymore. But
Or like
there's
oversized
a grunge look.
hoodies.
Yeah, there's a whole the grunge look was like cool again. I was like, when did that happen? Granted, that came in like a cycle though. Like grunge was cool again when I was in high
Yeah.
school. Well, it was side cool, like the scene kid thing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the emo thing was like the cool thing, but below that was like the rocker, like grunge look, like below that.
Yeah. It's all coming back, man. It's all, shit hits in waves. That's why, like I said, all the like new music is like reinterpolating old shit to get big dick energy. That's just an interpolation of, Genius of Love or, Anaconda.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you see this stuff like come in like cycles, and it's
And to the
It's
point where people
interesting.
don't even know the original song. They just think the new one is. I mean, it was like that back in it was like that back in the '90s. When Diddy, God bless his soul.
no, fuck him.
But no, it
I
was
don't
like
think I wish in hell for that guy, but
like Diddy's whole thing was like, oh, we're gonna take this old shit and we're gonna reinvent it for a new audience, and like that's that
I mean,
was
Bruno
huge.
Mars has been doing that with like
Yeah, Bruno Mars. Yeah,
he's been doing that. He's got all these old these songs that like not derivative, but very obviously inspired by like older music. He's got this new one right now that sounds like a '90s like pop. That's like, what the fuck was that new song he just did? Oh man, hold on. God damn, what's that new song he did?
yeah. I have now we've just like devolved. We're just like we're just like chatting now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this like song he did.
Anything from the chat? Any questions from the chat? Any questions from the chat?
Okay, not a new one, but like an older one that he did. That's a perfect example. Is that "Smoking Out the Window" song? Remember that one he did a couple years ago?
I'm not a huge Bruno Mars guy.
You've heard the song. This bitch got me paying her rent. That one, you know that one?
No.
No, fuck you. Maybe you look stupid, but oh god, what the fuck is that? He did a song recently that was like had this like '90s like look to it. The music video did. The song didn't sound like that, but
Yeah, people love Bruno Mars, man. I've never been into it. Not a fan. The Weeknd is cool. Never been into it. At least not his new shit. I was a trilogy guy.
I think that's how most people were, right? Like, I don't think a lot of his older fans. I wouldn't know. Were like Weekend.
Yeah.
I think that's like the consensus that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna find. I'll find it like this. All right, this is a fun show. My kid's chill now, so probably take a nap soon though. I try to give him a nap at the same time every day, but it's so fucking hard because he doesn't like, because no one else like follows the same schedule I do.
Yeah.
Like, I try to put him down for a nap till like 11:30 and 12:30. But my mom's like, "Oh, I don't put him down for a nap till like 2 in the afternoon." Like, Mom, but then he wakes up at like 5 and he won't go to sleep at like 8. Oh my God, this
Right.
one time, I asked my mom to watch him when I was hanging out with some friends. And I told her like his bedtime and everything. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, okay, we're about to leave. How's Junior doing? I was like, oh, he's still awake. And I was like, why the fuck is he still awake? It's like he wouldn't go to sleep, so I let him stay up. And I was like, Mom, he's spending the night now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not dealing with that. I love this. Ah, man. No, good show. That was fun. That was a good show. Anybody listening have any topics they want to share? Anything cool that happened? Good movies they watched recently?
Yeah, post it in the comments, post it in the Discord, in gameoverse.com/Discord, gameoverse.com/YouTube. A lot of stuff on the YouTube. Yeah, I'm still playing Ring Fit Adventure. It's my theory.
Oh.
It's my theory that no one has a full playthrough of that game on the internet yet. Only because just it's impossible to marathon. So
I was gonna say, like, there's a lot of like physical activity there.
yeah.
Just
So it's my goal to be the first full playthrough on the internet for Ring Fit Adventure. We're getting close.
There you go.
Every time I clear a world, there's like 3 more worlds. Like it scrolls down and you can see 3 more worlds pop up. And I'm like, fuck, man, how fucking long is this game? I'm on like world 11. So it's fucking still going. So
yeah, it's like an RPG. So
yeah.
it's gonna be longer than you expect, and you're gonna fight God at the end of it.
Yeah. So check that out. There's some Monster Hunter on there. We're talking about HoloLive. Very good discussion.
Oh.
There's
Side note, I didn't get to mention it during the show, but
yeah.
Don
Go
on Netflix, fucking incredible. It's a new anime that's really fucking good. I love it. It's so much fun, really goofy. Like, you ever seen Fully Cooley?
Yeah.
Same vibes, same energy. I don't know if you like Fully Cooley. Don't tell me if you don't. We can't be friends if you don't like it. Okay, cool.
I know there's now 3 seasons of Fooly Cooley. I've only seen
Never
that
seen
first.
the other seasons.
Yeah,
Only seen the
yeah.
first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Same vibes. Same vibes as that first season of Fully Cooley. Swear to God. Just go check it out.
All right, check out Daunted on Netflix. And yeah, hop in that Discord. Let us know. Tell me I'm a dumbass in the comments about my theories on Hellblade and just video games in general, because fucking, the Redditors couldn't tell me shit aside from just hit the fucking down arrow like some pussies.
Yeah. Don't tell me I'm a dumbass though, because then I'll come. Got a fetish. I have a fetish of being belittled.
Some people are into that. So. All right, that's gonna do it. Thanks.